And we are live. If you're watching this on YouTube live or you're watching this as a replay, I'm going to be hanging out with a handful of agency owners who I've coached in the past and scaled to 20,000 a month all the way to 70,000 per month. And we're just going to go around and kind of mastermind together. So each of them are going to share what's really working for them, some cheat codes, things that they figured out, bottlenecks that they're at struggling with, and what they're doing to overcome that. So a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be sharing today. If you get value from this video, awesome. Like, comment, share it. And if you'd like to be on one of these calls, there's a link below. If you go to the description within this video, you can click that link. It'll take you to a calendar where you can book a call and have a conversation with myself. If I think that you're a good fit, well, I'll invite you to come hang out with us on our next coaching call. All right, without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. Hello, hello, Mr. Drew. Can't hear you. You might have maybe it's connected to a mic or something.
What's up, guys?
Mr. Aman Chaudhry, what's going on, man?
Hey, we back.
He's back.
Like nothing changed.
Lots changed, but like nothing has.
Yeah. Can you guys
I'm
hear
taking.
me?
Yeah, there we go. I can hear you now, Drew.
Hi, guys.
What's going on, Drew?
It's going good. I'm doing well. It's good to see you, Koshik.
Good to see you. I'm so excited. It's like my
Amon,
birthday.
good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, man. Long
Rivera.
time.
Has been a
Rivera.
little while. I'm trying to think the last time I jumped on a call with your guys.
It was
It's
your
probably about a year ago, Drew. It's been a
It's
while.
probably over a year, honestly.
Yeah.
I think because I think I was back in dripping at the time, but
I remember the last time you came in, we spoke more about the free to fee, and the guys went on this cohort where we all tried to crack it. So yeah, yeah. I think that was about a year ago that we were trying to
yeah,
crack it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
very cool.
uh
Is it? And these are all your current students at the moment?
not all of them. Some of the
There's
guys,
Mason. I know Mason.
yeah, so you know Amon. Do you know Riviera?
Uh-huh. Uh, I don't think I know Daniel and Jeremy.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
think I know them.
Jeremy hopped in a bit after you. Um, so but we'll do interact. We'll do
Okay, cool.
so Jeremy, hope you're doing well. Riviera, hope you're doing well. Mr. Mason, where is he at? There is he. There is he. There he is. Um, so yeah, okay, guys. Well, we can go ahead and kind of get started. I know there's a few more people that'll hop in, Drew, but we can go get started. This is obviously being recorded, so we can go and share this with them. But if you guys are ready to rock and roll, I will go ahead and share my screen really quick to kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect today. So, because I have ADHD, I want to go and write this down for you guys. So, basically, what I'm going to do is for each of the OG members, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a quick introduction, just so everybody has context. And I'm going to give it to you from my point of view. Obviously, they're going to do this themselves. Then I'm going to go, then what they're going to do is they're going to go over the suggested topics and cover anything else that they might want to cover. So what I'm referring to is all this cool stuff that when typed out the other day. Um, we might have some dialogue as they talk, maybe, but I think maybe the most efficient thing, guys, is to wait until the very end, just because there's just so much to cover for each person. And then, probably again, just Q&A at the very end. Now, here's my thing, Riviera, Jeremy, Esteban, what you guys want to do, please, 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 because I feel like I'm the one that's always asking questions. And maybe, that's me just jumping the gun, but please take notes, guys. Take notes on your takeaways, question that you might have for the guys like Drew and Aman, um, so that you can ask those questions to them once they're done. This way we can be respectful of their time. And then at the very end of this, depending on how long we go for today, if there's, if it's not too late, I'll go and answer some questions. There's some things that are top of mind that you guys want to go over, like Jeremy, okay? Make sense, guys?
Hey guys.
Cool, cool, cool. Hey, Ronnie. So, really quick, I'll go and do an introduction of Drew. And again, this is just my POV. I'll let him introduce himself. But in terms of my understanding of Drew, before he came to us, while he's with us, he basically built out a seven-figure agency, production agency, doing high-end work in the past. It was him, his wife, a partner, and he had a lot of people that he would contract out. So I just bring that up because he had a ton of experience in terms of hiring, training, managing, and firing people before he even came to us. And I think that's a big part of his success because he works with quite a few people. He's got a team versus some of us are still solopreneurs. Um, he had a partner that was his source of leads to the best of my understanding. Correct me if I'm mistaken, Drew.
No, you're
And then
right.
again, things just kind of happen, things kind of happen. They went their different ways, and that resulted in Drew kind of hitting a place where he's like, okay, now what? What do I do? How do I, create this pipeline of leads that want my services? And at that point, I think he kind of looked around. I know that before he met me, he learned about the free to fee method and Google Ads from another program. And then, he saw my ugly mug in an ad for some reason, decided to click on it. And he decided to join us around November 2023. And the dude crushed it. He was one of the first people that like I was able to kind of compare and put people in different buckets. And I just saw how hard he worked the leads. He was on the leads. Usually I'm kind of having to like tell people a little bit like, hey, you need to be on your leads or da da da. He was all over it. And so to me, that was really cool to see. And so he crushed the 6 figure 6 weeks. Then what he did is he niched down to med spas. And he decided to quit med spas just because of misalignment, to the best of my understanding. There were certain things that they were asking for that he didn't feel comfortable with or he just didn't want to fulfill on. And so he went back to the drawing board and he combined the free to fee strategy that he learned from the other program with Facebook ads that he learned from us. I think that allowed him to scale around 30,000 per month. At that point, he was like, okay, cool. If I want to go higher, if I want to scale further, I need to bring some people on. And I think that took him to around 70,000 last time we spoke to him last year. And currently, to my understanding, again, I'll let Drew talk a little bit more about this. It's not just Facebook ads. He's using various traffic sources in order to generate leads for his clients, not just Facebook ads. So that's a quick introduction in terms of my POV. But Drew, go ahead and if there's anything that I missed, and then I'll do the bullet points, guys.
Yeah. Hey guys, excited to be here. Koshik, thanks for having me, man. It's always fun to jump in and kind of just brain dump. And one, obviously, I've always enjoyed like being a fly on the wall and watching the thread in the Slack channel and gleaning stuff. And out of it, I've been able to meet some cool dudes. Like I know Aiden and I got to work together and exchange some cool ideas and whatnot, and it, brought ROI. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I owe my success to Coach Sheik and one other coach named Nick Wood. um, like most of you guys, everyone here is video background, right, Coach Sheik?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, directed and shot and produced for over a decade. Was burned out, and so everything that Coach Sheik said was absolutely right. The updates were my goal was to hit the $83,333.33 monthly recurring revenue by July, and I did. I think we were like 84 or 85 was where we peaked at. And it was a goal of mine to hit, not because I needed that cash, but I just wanted to see if I could do it, just to push myself. And since then, I took my foot off the gas a little bit from July to the new year, just because I didn't need to. It was just arbitrary at that point. Like you reach a point where you hit escape velocity and you're like, well, why work harder when I'm already living the time freedom, the location freedom, and the financial freedom life that I wanted? So I think that was a little bit of what was happening there. And then some life circumstances changed, and so now there's a motivation to increase some cash flow. And so as a result, I arbitrarily set the goal of 100K by July. And so that's the plan of what we're going to. And I'm sure I'll talk a little bit about, one of Koshik's questions was like, well, what's my plan to get to that? So I think that brings us up to speed on kind of that. I started an AI company because I had so much free time. So I did that last year too. And that kind of bolts into my lead gen. And I worked with Aiden on that. And I think Aiden, you may still use it or not. But it's just basically, I found it to be a value add, helps with retention, and is an easy upsell or cross sell. But To jump into it, yeah, my model is basically free to fee. And that is how I do all of my customer acquisition. Most of my CAC is under $100, where using that model, I'll just give you a quick overview of what that is. I run ads to a fake company that I spin up in a home service niche, right? Create a Facebook page, drive ads to it, use a creative that I've driven down the CPL on, spend maybe $100 to get enough leads that we then find a business owner who's hungry to grow and give them to them for free. We give them anywhere from like 3 to 5 leads. We do warm handoffs on those leads, and I have a whole sales team that does all of that. Basically, plays phone tag with the lead and the business owner and hands them off, and then make sure they have a good experience. And once they have, they schedule a closing call with me. And normally I jump on and within 10 to 15 minutes, close them and get their credit card. And I have a ascension process. Basically, I've done it so many times now, just as Coach Sheik teaches, like you know your niche so well, you know the sales process, and it's like baking a cake. If you just take, follow the instructions every time, you're going to close 80, 90% of the deals. And you figure out what just makes it really easy for them to say yes. And so that's kind of been the model. I play in certain niches that I've been able to get the CPL down. Like I have my front-facing digital marketing agency where I'll take on clients in a traditional way when it's of value to me. I say no a lot more than I say yes now, which is actually really cool, just because the model that I do is infinitely scalable and doesn't require more of my time. So I'm like, well, why would I want to go work and just do a traditional thing and try to help you crack a funnel for some niche I don't know, right? And so unless the niche checks boxes that I'm interested in, because if I can crack their niche, funnel hack it, get a CPL under 20, I can take that playbook and copy and paste 1,000 times across the country and apply it into my fee to free model of customer acquisition and then fulfillment. And so the niches that I'm playing in mainly are concrete, metal building construction, fencing, decking, artificial grass, tree service, kitchen, bath remodel, and pool construction. Actually, that's one I cracked as well. I don't go hardcore after all of them. They're just some that are really, what I found and really enjoyed is instead of just going after the niche contractors, we've been going after GCs, because if I can get a general contractor on the phone, the conversation goes a lot easier, because one, GCs tend to have more money than like a niche contractor. And two, they tend to be a bit more savvy business wise. So they recognize the value a little bit sooner, and they're a little bit, I don't want to say smarter, but like there is a little bit more business savvy to them. And it's easier to sell them on my sales pitch, and them to be like, yeah, I mean, what's $250 1 week to try out, right? And with them, then I can sell a bunch of different sites to them. So that's been cool there. You guys want to jump in on any questions you have so far? Because I just kind of started rolling.
I've got a few questions, but guys, if you guys have questions, please chime in. The three questions I have is you said that you had an ascension process. I'm curious about that. The second question was you said you had they have to kind of meet the criteria for your checkbox. And then I'd be curious to hear more about like retention. Like for example, I'm gonna kind of doing like a week to week thing. So I'm just kind of like wondering what that looks like a little bit.
Yeah, let's take this one by one. All right, so the first one was that sales ascension.
Yeah, yeah. What's that look like for you in terms of
Yeah, and so I've talked about it before with you, but it really is just it's what somebody needs to overcome their trust objections and to move up to where I can get them paying what I want them to pay. Okay, and I do it incrementally. So the first one is I give you free leads. It's an easy yes. And everyone's going to say yes. There's actually very little rejection. The problem is you just got to qualify them better up front before you agree to go give them the lead. So we qualify, and then we give free leads. Then they jump on a call with me. And then I walk them through my sales script that is normally 10 to 15 minutes. And I basically say, here's what I know you need to see in order to move forward. You need to see, one, can I deliver the volume of leads that I told you I could? Can I really get you 30 to 50 leads? Two, are those good quality leads? You don't know, right? And then three, and it's the most important question, can you close them? If the answer is yes to all three of those, then you and I are going to make a lot of money together. So here's what I'm willing to do for you. One, I already spent my money to get some free leads and give them to you so that we could have this conversation. I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do so that you can see those three things is I'm going to cut my rate in half. So I anchor high before this, by the way, fellas. So I'll anchor above even where I want to settle with them once I convert them to ongoing customer. So I may say something like, I want to, I do a Hermosi's line. I'm very expensive. I am not the cheapest guy out there. I charge normally $2,000 a month for my sites. But the good news is I'm not going to charge you that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut my rate in half. We can take it 1 week at a time. So instead of $500 a week, it'll be $250 a week. Take it 1 week at a time, cancel anytime. And if I don't get you at least 15 leads in those 4 weeks, I'll give you your $1,000 back. And then I have my own little script after that. But that's the offer. That makes it very easy. And I'll even overcome the like I'll play to their ego and I'll be like, the downside is you give me $250 and all you got were those free leads. And I always say if $250 is going to break your business, then you're probably not the right fit for me, right? And most guys are going to have an ego and will be like, oh yeah, I can do 250. I'm like, oh, great. And you almost like anchor them down there, right? And then it's like the upside though, is you give me 250 and I get you 5 to 10 leads week one, you close one of those, week two, you get a $15,000 slab, and then you're at 20 grand gross, blah, 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 blah. And suddenly we're off to the races and you get to enjoy 2 more weeks at a discount while you and I are talking about how do we want to scale this thing, right? And typically at that point, they'll be like, okay, I'll try that. And then, all right, you an Amex or Visa guy. And then you get their card number, run it, and get them leads within 24 hours. And normally they're off to the races like that. So that is the ascension, because what happens is you got them free leads. You make it very easy for them to say yes with a risk-free offer, right? Because if you know your niche, if you know you can easily get them 15 leads, which I know I can get them 30 to 50, easy, okay, in most of these markets. So you do that. I've never had to give anybody their money back, by the way, and I've worked with hundreds of people at this point. And so that's the baby step of building trust. And then in that process, those 4 weeks, a lot of touch points, customer success specialists checking in, figuring out if there's pain points, meaning like we know if they're going to cancel before they know they're going to cancel. We just, because of just their buying temperature, how things are going, that kind of thing. And yeah, so that covers that. And then on week 4, I'm jumping on a call where I know already how well things have gone in that 4 weeks, where typically the conversation is a 5-minute call and being like, hey man, how's it working for you? You making money? Yeah, okay, great. Well, we're at the end of our 4 weeks. Normally it's going to be $500 a week. How's that sound? That sounds a little high. Okay, well, I say this line all the time. It's like, I'm more interested in finding the right partner than I am making the most amount of money out of my site. Okay, so clearly you seem like a closer. That's who I like to work with. Okay, so and then with that, I'll say, here's what I can do with you. Can you do 375 a week? You know, it's like $1,600, or normally that's where I want to be $1,500 or $1,600. And normally they'll be like, that's a great deal. I'll take that deal. I'm like, excellent. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll just update your Stripe account and we'll keep the leads going, rock and roll, and then boom. It's like a 4 or 5 minute call to ongoing, and they just pay weekly. And so that's the whole ascension process that I do. The upsells and the cross sells are going to be adding AI on if I want, adding more sites. Normally, once they're doing really successful, we may spin up another niche. We may spin up another location at a discount and just scale that way. Any questions on that?
So the thing that's a little bit different than the last time that we were here, all that sounds like exactly like you said. That's exactly what you covered last time. The part that we didn't hear from you last time was like what happens at the 4 week mark. So that was really cool to hear. And then also like adding on like the AI and stuff. I won't, obviously there's so much to go into. Like I could ask you a million questions, like how do you sprinkle those in? When do you sprinkle those in? But I think the main thing I'm concerned about, because we've had a few guys try to do week to week. And what almost always happens is within a week's time, people are churning. So I guess my question to you is, and I've asked you this before, is like how do you prevent that? But like I think the biggest thing is probably just like their success. So how long does it take them usually? Every niche is a little bit different, but is it 1 week, 2 weeks that they take to close? Because that's probably what it is. It's like as soon as somebody closes, like, okay, cool. You know what? I made an ROI, let's keep going with Drew. But if they don't, they're really struggling, trying to follow up with leads, nobody responding. That's where people just say, hey, look, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on that. I say this in every one of my sales calls, and this is true. It's not a sales line, it's just the facts. And I lead with it. I say, people don't cancel with me because I don't get them leads. They cancel with me because they can't close. And the reality is, and this is what I love about Kaushik's courses, he brought you in off of a video ad, but really what he's teaching you guys is how to sell at the end of the day to be salesmen, which I think is one of the most valuable skills out there. And I'm grateful for it. Um, Most business owners out there, unfortunately, are not good salesmen, right? It's the E-myth. It's the concept. I'm really good at something, so I'm going to start a business. And they start the business, but they don't know how to do operations well, maybe, or they don't know how to do customer experience, or they don't know how to do sales, or they don't know how to do marketing. And they realize, oh, wait a minute, just because I'm good at something, just because I'm good at pouring concrete, doesn't mean I'm good at selling. Doesn't mean I'm good at, running a business. And that's the unfortunate reality of why so many American businesses fail, in their first 2 years. Um, so what the game is not to find the best contractor or you get person in your niche. It's to find the best salesman. And that is who I'm looking for every time when I'm on a call. And I ask them, and I tell them this. I go, are you a good salesman? Tell me about that. And then you can tell the guys who are because they know how to speak a sales language and they'll talk about it, which is good for pre-qualification. And what I found is that on the meta ads, right? Normally, if I can get somebody 30 to 50 leads a month, and if they're a decent sales guy with a 20 to 30% close rate, they're going to close enough of those leads. There's going to be a lot of crap leads in those meta, like you know how meta is, like probably 1/3 to half are going to be crap. And then the other one's going to take persistent follow-up. And they're going to close enough in that. And goes to the check boxes that I wrote, Kaushik, for you is like I only play in niches that are $3,500 average ticket price and up. Okay. So I'm not like, if you come to me as a landscaper, I'm going to ask you, well, what landscaping what are you trying to sell? Oh, I want more yards. I want to cut grass. I'm like, no, I'm not your guy. Right. But if you want to do hardscapes that are going to be $3,500 and up, that kind of thing. Okay. We could maybe work with that kind of thing. The average ticket price has to be over 3,500. The market has to be over 40,000 population. And I need to be able to get them minimum 30 leads a month on that with a CPL of $20 or below. The reason for that is just I want a margin of 66% typically after their first month conversion. And so those are just the numbers that have worked. And I want to go back to the churn thing. You will have churn because not everyone's a good salesman. And people can tell you they're a good salesman. It could sound really great. But once they get to it, a lot of these guys are used to referrals and layups. They don't know what it's like to actually have to take a semi-warm lead, which tend to be meta, and really pursue it, go after it, and sell it, right? But what happens if you do it long enough? Let's say you have your locations. Let's just say take Atlanta, okay? I have a business owner. He rents for me for 2 months. Peter's out. Just couldn't sell enough. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze for him. Okay. He cancels. I call, do my thing again, find another contractor in Atlanta, rent him the site, take him through the process again. He lasts 3-4 months. He did better. Okay, cool. Bring on another guy. He lasts 3 weeks out. And again, you just going through the list, take him through the trials, find a fifth guy. That fifth guy crushes it. And then he's retained for a year. He never messages me. He just pays like on clockwork. And that's what happens with all of these digital assets that I have is you just keep going until you find the star player. And that star player becomes one of your A-lister clients. And you stuck it out long enough, and then you suddenly have this book of business that is just A-list players. So your churn dramatically drops just because they're good business owners and they know how to close. But you had to get through like the crappier business owners, and you're still making money off of them. So you're not losing money, right? Now there is churn. That's why you have your team and they're constantly backfilling as people churn. but your net gain is going up, right? You're building that solid base. And so that's my answer to churn. I don't think there's any way to fully prevent it, but that's how I've observed my company growing with this like foundation of really great business owners. And then you have these other guys over here that are constantly churning, but you're still making money. And then
Yeah.
sometimes those guys will trickle down into your A-listers and you just keep scaling.
Heck yeah, super cool. So the my takeaway, guys, from what Drew just shared is like he kind of like creates the glove, and the glove is a 3,500. It's the 40,000 population. It's a 20 to 30 leads per month at $20 per lead. That's the glove, and then he's trying to find the right business owner to fit that glove, and he's gonna keep going until he finds that person. And once it's done, boom, we're good to go.
Yeah,
So sweet, cool stuff. Thank you for answering those questions, Drew.
cool. Did anyone have any other questions, or do you guys want me to kind of pivot into staffing and kind of my org structure?
Fellas, anything? Speak once, going once, going twice before we move on.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Drew, my question is like, what is the plan on growing this? Because when I'm hearing this, I'm trying to think like, in order to make more revenue for you, it's more volume, right? But is there a way that you can find these people that are A-star players quicker? Like, are you noticing any similarities between the A-list players and the other people? Like, obviously, it's whoever's good at sales is going to stick on, right? But the thing is like, is there like an intake form or something that you have that helps you identify those people, right? So for example, what I mean is like, is there a certain maybe revenue range that you're seeing like, oh, I already know that this person is going to most likely have a higher success rate than person B. And
Yeah, great question.
if that's the case, then how are you going to scale that if that makes sense?
I'm going to try to give you the tangibles and the intangibles from what I've experienced. And I don't have this figured out, but I think it's a great question. And it's something that I constantly talk to my team about. The intangible is experience, meaning intuition. You talk to enough people and you start to just know. Like you guys can probably sense my energy on here, where I'm like pretty assertive and if I'm talking to somebody that it's pretty confident, that kind of thing. And so that energy comes across. In the same way, when you're talking to people, you can pick up, wow, I'm talking to this guy on the phone and I'm pretending I'm a lead, right? Or I'm offering him free leads or something like that. And this guy's like really soft spoken. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how you're going to close. You know what I mean? Like if this is how you engage with a potential customer. Like you feel it, you can see it, so that's part of it. And that's something that just you learn through getting at bats. Okay. And I know, Mason, you've been in the gym space for years now, right? So I'm sure like when you talk to a gym owner, there's just intuitively you're going to feel, oh, this person has an energy that's similar to those other guys that have been successful. And you identify that. So I don't knock that. That just is one of those intangibles. Um, but as far as tangible stuff goes, I always ask, how long you been in business? And I want to hear more than 5 years. And the reason for that is if you've been in business over 5 years for yourself, most likely you can sell, or else you're not going to stick around. Like, unless you had a homie hookup and he just, some customer that's a big whale of a client that's just constantly feeding you work and you lucked out and it was a networking thing, sure. But for the most part, if they've been in business over 5 years, they've had to learn how to sell. And so that's where I start the conversation. And I think that's probably the biggest indicator to me about it. Now, in the home service niches, I also find that goes back to my point. I'm finding the GCs to be the better salespeople as well. Oftentimes in the GC, they run it like our video agencies where when at scale, you're subcontracting to editors, shooters, all that kind of
Right.
stuff, right? Because the producer hat is the CEO hat, or you're out getting the clients, you have the clients, you sell the clients, that kind of thing, and then you have the workhorses go execute, right? Same thing here with the GCs. They tend to be more competent in the home service niches where they're going to be good at selling. And that's just something I've observed, and every niche is different too, right? It's going to attract different types of people, that kind of thing. So let me think if there's anything else. Does that kind
Have
of
you
give you?
I was gonna ask maybe have you noticed have you noticed that in one particular service provided that the closing rate is higher? And are you collecting that data? So for example, let's say you have five kitchen remodelers and you have three people that are doing your artificial grass, right? Is there in the on the top of your head, are you like, ooh, I know this person's most likely going to close more, essentially?
Um,
I guess what I'm
no, there's
asking
no way
is
to know
like,
for sure because they can be the best salesman and the market could suck, right? And that it's like it's not him that's the issue. It's just there's not enough people in demand in that area, right? Like I've encountered that. Um, I've encountered a lot of great sales guys who talk to me on the phone, and I'm like, I genuinely believe you're a competent, amazing salesperson, but the market has just sucked. Or they come on in a month. Like I just had this happen in Scottsdale. I had a guy come on. He was probably my fastest sale. I think I number closed him within like 12 minutes and had his credit card, boom. And I was like, yes, record. And he was great. And I sent him probably 30 leads in like 2 weeks. And for whatever reason, they were all price shoppers and he couldn't close any of them. So to him, it's just like wasted money. Right now, I would have pushed back and been like, bro, you've been in this sales game for how long? Just call them in a month when things warm up. Like after tax season's coming along, people are getting their refunds. Like there's all the reasons that he could have. And that's just an example of the market was still cooled from winter. People weren't paying. So it's just a timing thing there too. So there's no there's no cut and dry rule that I follow. It is a volume game, and I would be surprised if someone else has cracked it in a way where it is just like by the numbers. I think it is just always volume, and it's just getting through the bad business owners or the crappy sellers or whatever, and building your book of business with strong customers.
Guys, any other questions?
I got one for you, Drew. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing good.
Hey, my question is, so it seems that the free to fees working really well for you. What would you say are like the minimum requirements to be able to do that for like whenever you're looking for your own leads?
Yeah, so $3,500 average ticket price of the niche. 40,000 population over, meaning a city or an area that just has over 40,000 people in it. And that you're able to hack the funnel, crack that niche with creative, where you're getting leads at under $20 a pop on average. You can make under 30 work, but your just margins go down. But to give you an example, off of $1,000, 4-week trial that I do before I convert them into 15 to $2,000, right? $1,000 spending $20 a day, right? You're spending $600 in those 30 days to get 30 leads. That leaves you with a $400 or 40% margin, right? Now, if you have some hard cost salespeople, all that kind of stuff, that takes stuff down. But in general, I'll still take $400 and spend 600 all day, every day, right? So I'm still making money on that trial, and that's why the $20 per lead averages a lead a day, keeps the BO happy. I get them 30 leads. Just it's a numbers game, and at that point, they should be able to close enough deals that it's a win-win for both parties.
Okay. You think that's like transferable to other niches besides like home base, like the ones that you do?
Um, you mean like give me an example of what you're thinking, like a med spa kind of thing?
Yeah, like med spa or any niche as long as it has those minimum requirements that you could do a free to fee.
I think this model could work in tons of niches that aren't even home services. Like I could see it working with lawyers. I could see it working with I mean, you name it. I mean, there's so many ways it could. Home service is easy, just because I think of the sheer volume, like everybody needs concrete, right? For example, like more than often than not. Um, but yes, the short answer is yes. I think you could apply this model to a lot of things. I don't know if it would be as easy as doing something like, just an innocuous niche like fencing or decking or something like that. But
That's
Okay.
the
yes, the model
that's the
works.
That's on really quick. So, we created course material on this, thanks to Drew. And so he's really talking about the service delivery side, right? Like what does the client need to meet in order for me to generate enough ROI for them to continue to pay me? But then there's the whole aspect of client acquisition. And so for client acquisition, we kind of like have checkbox as well. Like for example, one of the big things is, and again, Drew might be doing things a little bit different, but he kind of like scrapes these business owners. He sends out an initial message. He gets them to respond. He hops on a call as if he's a lead. And so there are certain businesses, like for example, dentists, that you may or may not necessarily be able to do this because they usually have like landlines. And so you're not able to really text them and act like a lead, for example. So there's certain criteria that matter on the front end as well.
Got
Good
it.
point. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Good question, Eslam. Anything else, guys? I do have one more question, Drew, before we move on to like teams hiring, training staff and stuff like that. But guys, do you guys have any other questions? Okay, so this might be a relatively simple one, but in terms of like cracking the ads, like do you have a process for that? Like you're like, hey, I'm gonna step one, I'm gonna funnel hack, step two, I'm gonna see if this works with a lead ad instead of an instant form. Like what's kind of maybe your process for cracking
Dude,
ads?
you taught me what I do. I mean, it was yeah, it's the Koshi. I don't know if you're still running that coaching course, but yeah, like Koshi taught me how to funnel hack, and so I don't know if I start as much anymore in the ad library. I've kind of like Aiden was actually super helpful in this. He turned me on to the quiz style concept on Meta. So like there's a couple things that I just do no matter what when I'm starting any niche. I'm going to spin up a direct offer. Okay. Typically it's like 10% off, 15% off based off of whatever the margin of that service is, right? I'll typically have a conversation with the business owner, be like, hey, if I offer 15% off, you can inflate your costs 15% to cover the margin, or is it cool just giving it away? And most of the time you'll figure out a direct offer, right? Then I do a cost quiz. Then I do, depending on the niche, I'll do a style quiz as well. So style quiz, like let's just say kitchen and bathroom model is, hey, what style of kitchen are you? Right? Where it's completely disconnected from money. And what I liked about that one, I've had a lower CPL on that than the cost quiz because it's psychologically it's bypassing the idea that it's money hungry. Now, the quality of those leads are going to be way lower because they're people who are like, they have a kitchen, they may want to do it. You're going to get cheap leads and you're going to have to weed through them to find which one's the most qualified. But if you need, so like typically the way I'll structure it is, the direct offer is going to be the strongest, most qualified buyer. And so I'll put like, let's say 40% of my budget on that one. And then the cost quiz, I may do 20%, and then the style quiz 20% or 15. And just, like weight the higher, more qualified campaigns that get less leads because they're more expensive, right? CPL. And then I'll supplement with the style, right? And that way, like if, I'm sending a guy 30 to 50 leads, it looks great on the weekly recap emails when you're just like, look at all these people, right? And it's like, what's your excuse? Go close more, follow up with these guys. And so just from an optics perspective, it's really great to point to and be like, bro, you got 50 names and numbers right here. There's got to be something in there. One kitchen pays for my service for I don't know how many months. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. And when you say direct offer, what do you mean by that?
So direct offer would be like with the kitchen and bath, I would say like, hey, $5,000 off your kitchen remodel.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Just it's direct. It'd be just very much claim your offer, like that kind of thing. Or it could be as simple as just 10% off your kitchen.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense why that would definitely draw in a higher quality caliber of leads because they're of the mindset of, okay, I'm going to spend money. I want to buy this thing. Let's see if I can get a discount versus, hey, what style of whatever. That might be more of a passive thing.
Mhm.
Just some kind of a thing that keeps their interest and gets them to go into a funnel. But cool. Guys, any other questions before we move into like hiring, training, staff, stuff like that?
Less of a question, more of a comment. Drew, I think it's awesome that you did the style thing too. That's something that we started doing. We have an AI take their finishes that they choose and spit out an image.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
they choose like the shape of their kitchen and stuff and bathroom and stuff. And anyways, we're doing the same thing. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done something like that with the AI spitting out an image. That's a cool idea.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. All right, guys. So we'll go ahead and move on to operations, hiring, and training, stuff like that.
Oh, Sheik,
Yeah.
sorry, could I get one quick question in?
Yeah.
You were talking about, thank you, Drew, for everything. You were talking about lead quality. The niche I work in is medical spas, and this is always going to be something I'm trying to tamper with and figure and crack the code on how to get the highest quality stuff. And I have made a lot of progress here as of late, but just curious to hear anything you're doing. Are you just like leaving it open wild, wild west? Are you asking questions? Are you going to a landing page? Are you using the form? What are you doing?
Yeah, so predominantly it is the on Meta Insta form that they have. It depends on if I'm running the direct offer or the quiz or whatever. Like if it's the quiz, it has a lot more questions. Um, uh, for like metal building construction, there's a ton of questions actually on the direct offer. Be like 15% off essentially your turnkey metal building, right? That's going to be your dirt work, your concrete, and then the whole build out, right? And with that, it'll be how many square feet? How many doors do you want? How many windows? Do you want electricity? It's like a whole bunch of questions that when that business owner gets that, they're like, oh, I have everything that I need. Then there's other guys, like it could literally just be name, email, phone number, project details, desired project start date. I need a driveway in next month, right? So it depends on the niche, right? And what's needed to be able to quickly qualify and then follow up and close them for
I'm
the.
assuming you use Go High Level and all that.
I do. Yeah, well,
Do
I have
you?
a whole tech stack at this point that
Okay.
it's all communicates, but yes, it's built on Go High Level as well.
Are you doing anything with Conversion API?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I keep it
That's a,
really simple because it's all local lead gen and everything of just doing the advantage campaigns and just letting Meta's like template, like just basic features is all I've needed. I haven't had to do pixels. I haven't had to do retargeting. I haven't had to do interest-based searches. It's just pretty much drop a pin, 25-mile radius, and then have good creative, right? Have good images, good primary text, good headlines, good descriptions, and great images or video.
and so no pixels even with like their new Andromeda stuff and all that. You're not even messing with that.
Haven't
Okay.
needed to, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. One of the interesting things that I think a lot of people miss out though on, and I don't have a quick hack for this, but I just pay a VA to do it twice a day. Because I may have like 200 sites on Facebook, and we may be running at any time. I think right now, I think I have one of Coach E's questions is how many active clients do you have? I think I have 55 when I was looking at my Stripe subscriptions. I think I have 55. Um, of that, we're probably running somewhere around 60 to 70 meta campaigns a day. Of all the creative that is going out there, people are silly where they won't fill out the form. They'll just comment on the ad and be like, what's the quote? How much is this size driveway? How much would this cost? Right? They'll just comment. And so what we do is I have a VA go into all those comments and DM them with a message to be like, hey, would love to answer that question. Fill out this form and my boss will get you a quote. And then AI gets turned on in the DMs and helps further nurture them and convert them into an actual lead. And I would say probably somewhere between, I would say 20 to 30% of the lead flow that we get is actually pulled from those comments. Otherwise, it would have been lost.
Okay.
So that's just a little tip. If you guys are running those campaigns at scale like that, you'd be losing a lot of leads if you're not doing that.
So Drew, it sounds like is the primary methodology lead ads that are instant form ads, not lead ads that go off social media and into a funnel then?
Correct.
Oh wow. Okay, so that makes sense, Jeremy, why he's not necessarily needing a pixel. Pixels are obviously, ideally used for tracking conversions and things on a page and
Mhm.
smart up the pixel. So when it comes to like the quiz funnel, whatever, it's like you're doing the quiz, but you're doing an instant form ad version of the quiz
Yep.
instead of going to funnel. Okay, interesting. Very cool. Very cool. Sweet. Guys, other questions? All right, Drew, I think that's it.
Cool.
Wait. I have a question. Are you getting all your VAs from like online PH or
I am. Yeah. Did you want me to speak towards the org structure at all, Kaushik? Or
Yeah, please.
yeah, so Aman, that's a great question. Yeah, so onlinejobs.ph is where I started. Um, and Kaushik asked a great question of like, when do you know when to hire? And I thought about that question, and my answer would be when you know they can get you an ROI and they can cover their own overhead. And what I mean by that is the first hire I made was a salesperson where I knew that if she did her job within a month, she would pay for herself and more, and it would compound. And so that's when I made my first hire. And my first hire was in sales. I hired her to be a setter. She would do all the scraping, calling, cold calling, hooking, run them through the trial and schedule them on my calendar. And that was my first hire. Then my preference is to hire from within. Hey, Des, you're a great salesperson. Do you have any friends or colleagues that you've worked with that you think they would like our culture and would want to scale with us? And so then she would get people and then I would interview them. And from there, that's what I do every time. And it's just produced a massive. So right now, I think I have 8 people in the Philippines working for our team. One of them, Des, I promoted from within because she was exceptional, and she's now my head of operations. And so she runs the day-to-day for me and oversees. She's also the director of the sales team. Under her, there are I think 5 or 6 salespeople that work full time. Des is responsible for now, I've outsourced even the recruitment and the training. So Des does all the recruiting, the training, and then she's incentivized if they close. And so she gets commission on if her trainees crush it. And so everything's incentivized where everybody, if they show up and they contribute and they do well, they get added bonuses. And I can get into all the nuances of that, of what I've kind of built on that. But Des is also responsible for client retention. So she gets commission on any accounts that stay after their first month. So her job is, again, motivated to make sure all of these business owners that I close have great experiences for their first 4 weeks, right? And that's how I know when I'm jumping on that 4th week call that this is going to be an easy sell, right? Because she's already been touching base and has notes in the CRM of like, no, this has gone really good. So it's just very easy to jump on. So I promoted her into that position, I want to say last October, where I decided, okay, I think it's time for me to step out of the business, empower her, because I think she could do it 60 to 70% at the level I could. And that was the metric that I was comfortable with. I'm like, if you can do at least 70% of the way I do it, we'll be fine. And she crushed it. And she came in and she's excelled at that. And so then the rest are all just salespeople doing the exact thing she did. They just hook new business owners, hand off leads, and schedule sales calls for me. And each one has a quota that they need to hit in order to stay on the team every month. And then I have one other guy, Dante. He is full-time and he is my technical guy. So he does all my site building, my SEO backlinking, all of the duplicating snapshots in high level, setting up the business owner for fulfillment, setting up the weekly recaps, everything that I've built out as an SOP of like, this is how we fulfill. So literally all I do is if I wanted, I do more than this, but like if I really wanted to, I could probably work 2 to 4 hours a week, literally just taking phone calls, right? Because the phone calls are only 20 minutes long, if that. Put a couple notes in the CRM, hit the automation, and boom, it disseminates to Dante and Des, and they just go get them all spun up, and I don't have to touch it. We use well, I won't get into the tech stack, but a lot of it's all just systematized, automated, where they hit a couple buttons, get things set up pretty quickly, and we can have, somebody up and running probably within 20 minutes of me taking their credit card number. And so we can move pretty fast on that. Any other questions on the org structure and hiring and how I kind of work that?
you mentioned you have the salespeople that you've hired and the operations. Do you have anything on the media buying side to continue managing
Great
the ads?
question. So that it would be the next hire. So right now I have a lot of free time. And so that is the most important thing I do every Tuesday and Friday. I carve out an hour and I sit down. Sometimes depending on how big the business, it depends how many clients we have. This past Friday, we scaled to like by 17 clients in the past month and a half. And so it's taken a significantly longer. But I sit down and I do all the media buying. So I go through every single account. I look at how many leads came in the past 3-4 days, and then I make micro tweaks. I may adjust the budget. I may adjust the radius. I may kill off a creative campaign that's underperforming. I may juice another campaign, right? The whole goal that I'm looking for is maximum low CPL and 30 to 50 leads a month. So whatever I got to do, if I got to juice a campaign maybe for a month with a guy who's been with me for a year and throw $1,000 for a slow month behind it, I will, right? Because the upside of keep retaining him for another several years is going to be worth whatever the cost that 1 month is. And so I do that. For me to scale to 100K a month, I would then hire somebody and I would step out of that. And they would be incentivized by, for every account set that they get the CPL under, let's say $10, maybe I would give them, a $10 commission per account, something like that, right? Where if they're managing 50 accounts and they get 30 of them down, that's 300 extra bonus, a month, which is more than half a salary. So, and that's the other thing when you get into that, you need to understand the economics of the Philippines. You got to understand what a dollar buys, right? And that's what Desiree, my head of operations, has been instrumental with, where I'll have conversations and I want to give away the farm. She's like, whoa, let's not, that's too much incentive. And so, yeah, that's where you'll lean on your people as you build trust with them and learn the culture and learn how that dynamic works. Like, for example, one of the things I did not know is it's customary in the Philippines in December is to give them, in addition to their December salary, the equivalent of 1 month's salary as like a Christmas bonus. And they all came in a very respectful way and asked me, and I was like, you want, on top of everything I'm giving you, you want me to just give you a 13th month salary? And I realized culturally, and like obviously you have to weigh the morale of the team and the culture and everything. And so that was a learning experience for me. And we did it, but it's one of those things I didn't know. It was expensive.
You're a good boss, obviously. So number one boss. You need to have like a cup that says number one boss.
Oh, they make me feel like it. That's for sure. Yeah.
Super cool. Aman, do you have more questions regarding team hiring, stuff like that? Because I know that's
I just have one more question for Des. When you first hired her, I know on like online jobs, it's like, $5 is like the average to hire someone an hour. Did you kind of say, okay, well, I want one of the best? Did you go like $10 an hour straight off the bat? Just trying to see if you had like a philosophy in terms of like, should I pay more for that
Yeah,
first hire?
I will give you, so no, I didn't offer an hourly rate. I offered a monthly rate or weekly rate. Um, and what did I base it on? Probably other mastermind groups. There were other guys in like Nick Wood's group where they were just posting, and I would ask a question, right? Like guys who had done it before. And they would say like $500 is pretty like reasonable. And that's where I started. I just said, okay, $500, 250 paid bi-weekly plus uncapped commission and bonuses, right? And then I got all the resumes and started there. And if you have a great commission structure and bonus, like it totally blows away a lot of what is offered for other, remote jobs in the Philippines. So it was very easy to recruit because they would just all call their friends at the crappy telemarketing companies and be like, hey, do you want something that's going to give you way more autonomy, allow you to make more money, and the culture is a lot of fun? And so that was very easy to scale. And so now what we do is we just do quarterly hiring, and it's just a no-brainer for us because of the economics of the way the Philippines works with my model and just all the numbers. It's kind of like it costs me no more, like it doesn't cost me time or money really, other than a couple $100 to train 3 to 5 new people every quarter. And if those people close one deal, they more than pay for themselves. You know what I mean? And then they stay and it just compounds. And so the vision is just to every quarter bring on 3 to 5 new people and they're responsible for their own account sets, and then just build sales team based around niches, right? So then you would have like Des, then you would have probably sales directors in different niches, and then like 2 to 3 salespeople underneath them would be the way I would structure it as I would scale. But it's the same price every time, $500 starting, plus commission, plus team bonuses, plus all the other perks we do. We do a phone stipend, phone internet stipend. And as we've scaled, it's been fun to add like those little bells and whistles. And they're also tied to performance too. So there's other things where, you unlock, you gamify it. It's like if you hit this many closed deals, you unlock this bonus or that kind of thing. So
Cool.
the
Thank you.
Slack channel is just going crazy because they work as a team because there's team bonuses and so it's cool. And I didn't know how to do that, by the way. Like I've just kind of felt my way through it of like having conversations with Des and the team openly, be like, hey, what would motivate you guys? Where are the pain points? Like, and the other thing is just being really honest about what you don't know. Hey guys, I don't know. I wasn't planning on your Christmas month. Let me see what I can do. Like they give you grace. Like, hey, I don't know how to solve this problem. What are your guys' ideas? Right? And then you weigh it. And I think that goes a long way too in building trust with the team and loyalty. And that's a whole another conversation, which is culture, because that becomes a big thing when they're all remote, and making sure that there's a cohesiveness and that everyone's aligned. And it doesn't take a ton of work, but for example, like there needs to be a weekly all staff meeting where everyone knows what they're doing. It's nothing more than to just come together and be like, what'd you do this weekend, Amon? How are your kids doing? Like, tell us all. Give us good news and just laugh and joke and, build that rapport because that's huge too I don't have an issue with employee retention. I have no churn. No churn. I only have to fire people if they're just underperforming, but no one's ever left because they wanted to go do something else. And that's its own philosophy on culture.
Good stuff. There are a few questions that I typed down. I think you kind of answered quite a few of those already regarding team. Um, so if I'm understanding correctly, there's you, and then you have Des. Below Des, you have salespeople. They're all kind of doing the same thing, and then you have one person that is your tech guy. That person's like setting up funnels, and is he the one that's setting up the campaign, or are you doing that? Because you said you, so he's setting up the
Yeah,
campaign.
so I just to that point, once I crack a niche, I use Upex and I just build out all my up campaigns in it. Upex just basically is where you can build, you just copy and paste and push out to um, Meta, where you don't have to rebuild the campaign manually, if that makes sense. Just a couple clicks, and so he can deploy. So that's how we could get a customer in concrete, say up in 20 minutes or sooner, because literally the campaigns are already created and we just deploy under that Facebook page.
Are you creating a new sub account for each new client you get? Because don't you have to go through the whole ATP? Because we have to wait like 3 days until our ATP is set, and then we can launch their ads.
A little secret. Is this
Okay.
live on like public, Koshik, or is this
Choose your words wisely.
um you don't um I don't set up texting for every client unless they pay a $25 flat fee to allow me to go into Twilio and get that verified. And I just set time expectations. So if I'm not setting up texting, then it's very easy for me to go live because majority of the leads are coming in through forms. So there isn't a need to text. And because the way I have my system work is that I can share this. So the way it happens when a lead form comes in, I have a sub account, not for every client of mine, every asset of mine. My model's different. Okay. I have digital assets that these guys rent. So I'm a landlord and they're the tenants, right? And so only if they ask do I give them access to my sub account. I would say hundreds of my sub accounts have no one in it. It quite literally is just set up as the snapshot that has the automations and has the Facebook page with the forms. And we go in there and then we have custom values where we put the business owner's information of who needs to be notified, right? Their name, their email, and their phone number. And then in my automations, I have a webhook address to one sub account and I call it DMKAI. Okay. And this is like my master sub account where hundreds of my sub accounts, hundreds of my Facebook pages, when a lead comes in, runs through an automation, and it pushes through the webhook to this one sub account. The way I have it all set up, then it parses it, and from one number, one Twilio number, we send all of our text notifications to all the leads from all over the country, if that makes sense. So I don't have to set up Twilio numbers for hundreds of my sites. There's one phone number that's messaging them by using the variables, the custom values in high level. We're getting into the weeds on the tech stuff, but it was a scaling feature I stumbled upon that saved infinite amount of money because I don't need to buy phone numbers for every site. I don't need to pay, 25 bucks for A2P verification. It's just one.
So essentially a webhook that goes to your main sub account and it takes the variables and sends it to.
Bingo. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And
So
is
like
it just
in
that
that
one text, or do you have like a sequence of text that goes out?
Yep.
And that can work like amongst all the industries. Like it's generic enough, I assume, that the message is.
Yeah, because in each sub account, my snapshot, when
That's all
that
the
Facebook
variables.
lead comes in, you got their name, email, phone number, but then I have a bunch of things that I then auto populate into it, which I say like the name of the site, the business owner, his email, his name, the niche, the you name it, a bunch of stuff, and all of that gets pushed in the webhook. So in that account, I can populate every lead with all the information of the BO that's running the site, and then craft custom text through all the variables to one, let the business owner know, here's your text and email with all the lead information for your site customized. And then I can let the lead know, hey, your business owner named Joe Smith is going to call you from this phone number, right? And so that's why it's infinitely scalable. Like you just fill out the custom values, you turn on the automation, you link the Facebook form, and boom, it runs it's already taken care of because I built it once and everything flows through it.
And then the clients are all calling the leads from their personal phone or texting.
Bingo. Correct. So that's why you don't need a number.
Right, right. That's very interesting.
Yeah. I could nerd out on all the tech stuff because that's fun. Like when I crack an idea and I go and play in high level with the automations and AI, like it's interesting how that all evolved. But yeah, because I was tired of paying so much money for all these phone numbers because no one was calling phone numbers. They were doing the Facebook web forms or the on like very few.
So your VAs aren't calling their leads then once you close them. That's fully on them. You have the automation and they call.
Correct. Once I have signed them up for their first month, we cut out the salespeople. Salespeople don't touch it.
So they nurture the first month and then they stop after the second month.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
Good stuff, guys. Any more questions revolving around the topics that we are discussing right now, guys? Okay. Drew, what else are you working on that's super cool like this? Ninja level tactics that you feel like would be cool to share with the guys that you want to nerd out about?
Yes, I have one that I guess one thing I'll share. And so I'm very proud of this. It took me 2 weeks to build it out with AI, like walking me through every step of like sending screenshots. I'm like, because I'm not a coder, but I got Make, right? Like it's like a Zapier. And one of my pain points was clients not paying on time. Okay. It still is a pain point. And so Des is my debt collector. She'll go and she'll call them and hassle them. But the issue was people would miss a payment and we would give them a 24-hour grace period. Then we couldn't reach them. And we're burning ad spend. Well, these guys have not paid us. And I don't like to front service in this thing. It's the same way if you're a landlord. It'd be like, no, your rent is due this day. If you don't pay, service gets turned off. So we changed our policy. You don't pay, no more leads. Unless there's an edge case where he would message me personally and I do a homie hookup where he's been like retained with me for months. He always pays on time. He's like, hey man, I just been a cash flow crunch waiting on a check to cash. Can you keep leads on for me? I'm happy to do that. Okay. Especially once there's trust that's built. But when you have 55 customers and at any given point in time, you may have 7 to 10 who are behind in a payment. I was losing track. Des was losing track of and we would end up having ad campaigns that were still on and I'm burning money while the guy canceled and he's getting these leads. So I built something in Make that connects to Stripe, Go High Level, Make. And what happens is if a customer invoice fails, Stripe sends to Make that notice, and then Make goes and finds their specific campaigns in my Meta account that are turned on and turns them off immediately. It then logs it in Airtable with the exact names of the campaigns that got turned off. Then the business owner through High Level, it's sent from Make, goes to High Level. High Level sends a text to the business owner. It's like, hey, you missed your payment. Here's the link to your invoice in Stripe to turn leads back on immediately. Pay it now. And so they get the text knowing that leads have been turned off and they need to pay it. They can click that link. It opens up in Stripe and they can replace their credit card or run it again, like move cash into their account and run it. And then when that invoice completes, a webhook gets sent back to that same Make thing and it runs through it and it pulls from Airtable the campaigns that were turned off. Meaning like you may have 5 campaigns for like a customer, but you're only running 3 at a time because maybe 2 were sucking that month, right? And so you don't want everything turned back on. It basically then pulls what was turned off, turns it back on without a human
Coach A.
touch anything. Yeah. And then a text message gets sent to the business owner, hey, your ads have been turned back on. So we took all the human aspect out of that and the headache of knowing who didn't pay, what do we got to turn off? And because it happens instantaneous, the cost savings alone in that is going to be probably tens of thousands of dollars in the course of a year, I would imagine. So that's a very nerdy thing, but like I'm very proud of it.
Amazing. I'm taking that.
That's like Zapier on steroids.
Yeah. And then it runs to Slack too, so that it gives you the notifications when it's happening too, so that the team can just observe. And so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Guys, other questions maybe that you have for Drew or Drew, is there anything else top of mind that you can think of that you wanted to nerd out about a little bit? Whether I know we spoke quite a bit about teams, hiring, training, incentivizing people. One of my questions was going to be like, how often are you meeting with people for morale? It sounds like once a week. In terms of comp structure, it seems like you're relying a little bit on Des to get feedback on maybe what will work. Because she's very plugged in, obviously, with the culture and just kind of having an understanding of what will get the ball rolling for them. But yeah, anything else that you want to talk about on the team side or the tech side, Drew?
No, I think that covers it pretty good, guys. Like most of it is like once you have it on lock, it's just basic blocking and tackling. There's not a ton of innovation that needs to happen when you get your CPL low and you got your sales process dialed in, you got your retention more or less on lock. It really becomes enjoyable and easy and fun. And it's just provided a lot of opportunity to go off and do a ton of other stuff, not just business related, but just like passion related. And so, um, I, I also want to say like this didn't happen overnight. I busted it for at least 2 years where I was but I also had a gun to my head. Like if I wasn't successful, we were going to lose a dream home and a whole bunch of pressures that I needed this to work, which led to just grinding for 2 years. And I was at a point where I think I had like 3 months runway left, and otherwise I have to go get like a real job. And that's when I took Koshik's coaching and merged it with this digital landlord concept, and it just took off. And so now, and by take off too, just to be clear, it wasn't like suddenly overnight. But it was like steady incline, and I was piecing all these things together and optimizing and fine tuning it. And within a year, scaled from $15,000 a month reoccurring revenue to the 84,000 within 12 months. So it works when you dial it in.
I appreciate you sharing that, Drew. Without getting into too much, like I feel like I'm a pretty decent read on people as well. And I remember when you hopped in and you were just all go go. My first kind of inkling of that was seeing you with the six figure 6 weeks. And I was like, there's something to this guy. There's something going on here because most people are not as hungry or as driven to like work these leads as much as you were. And so that was my first inkling of like something's going on here. And then, there's some small little things that happened while we were coaching, which kind of gave me some hints as well. And I didn't know exactly what was going on, and then obviously you and I had a conversation, recently, and so I kind of had a guess that there was something there that you had a fire under your ass. I just didn't know what it was, and so I just appreciate you kind of sharing this. And guys, I mean, this is important. It's just kind of like one of the things I pick up on is, Drew again, he's picking up on that call and acting like he's lead and saying who's really good at sales. And so the same thing just kind of applies is like you can kind of just like tell who's got a little bit of a fire under their ass and just I'm rambling a little bit, but I think Drew's success is like, we look at it and we're like, holy cow, but a big part of that is having a fire in your ass. A big part of that is having a why. And sometimes it's a good thing, kind of backed up against the wall. That allows you to do these kinds of really cool things, I think.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Yoshi. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Amen. Guys, anything else that you guys wanted to chop it up about with Drew? Obviously, you want to be respectful of his time. Aiden, do you have anything on Riviera, Estelan, Jeremy, Jorge?
Yeah, Drew, I guess is there like I'm sure you've seen, be having so many client accounts, ads fatigue over time. Maybe the same ad stuff is working for another client but not working for another. Is there like a go-to thing you do other than I'm sure you
Yes,
is
that's
there
a
like a
great question. I'll tell you my tip and trick where like and it works for me. And I outsource so much to AI. Literally, I had a prompt where it was basically like, you're an expert meta campaign creator, right? Like, this is just ChatGPT. And here's what I need. Uh I need 3 campaigns. So this is like built for the niche. But for example, I need a direct offer, I need a quiz, and a style campaign. Okay, let's just say if we were doing bathroom, kitchen, remodel. I'm like, and this was a new niche. And I would say, give me 3 headlines, 3 primary texts, 3 descriptions, 5 Sora image prompts for each campaign. Go into the OpenAI playground. It's like the back end area where you can just like do some bulk photo generation a little bit faster than just doing it right in the panel. And what I do is I just copy and paste those 5 Sora prompts, do 2 images at 1 by 1, and make sure it's title safe. Like I have the whole kind of thing prompt. But for the most part, like if I could spin up something like that in 30 to 60 minutes and build that in UpHex, right? So I build it once because then if it works, then I can just copy and paste that and have my team now just deploy all those campaigns for every time we have a new kitchen bath person. That's what we do. So when I crack those niches where through the front door agency where someone would come and be like, hey, I'm a pool guy. I need help with pool construction. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Pay me a service fee. And then you're going to pay ad spend. We're going to do a traditional model like a lot of you guys are running, right? Like with med spas, for example. When I crack it, I just take that creative and then I go and I do my rank and rent side, at a fraction of the cost and just use that creative. But yes, that's how I do it. It's that simple. And it's a volume thing because you let Meta just take all the different variants, different headlines, different primary text, different images to find which one works best, and then just trust the AI to put that in front of the right people. And it's worked 90% of the time. There are some markets where just the market sucks and there's nothing you can do. And I've tried tons of creative and it's just not the market for it. And so you got to know when to walk away too. But that's the beautiful thing about this model is that every town in a 50-mile radius is a potential target, you know? And so if it sucks somewhere, just cut your loss and jump over and quickly make up for it.
cool. And you sound like you use Sora. Yeah, that kind of answers it. And you said you use Sora as well.
Yeah, so I use the OpenAI API, the backend stuff. It's like they call it a playground or something like that, and it just gives you more allows you to do photos at bulk as opposed to waiting it in the thread if you're in like ChatGPT.
Okay, is that like an enterprise like type of
No,
thing?
no, no, no. You just it's platform.openai.com playground splash images. It's just the API backdoor of like for people who build apps and stuff like that. You should have access to it for free if you have your own ChatGPT account. You can get in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. I never thought about that.
I mean, it just lets you do it at scale. But if you pay like you video dudes, like if you're into like video AI and stuff, I use what is it? Higgsfield.ai, which is like an aggregator of all the tools out there. And in that you can do bulk image processing too. And you just pick if you want to use Sora, if you want to use banana one, if you want to use all of them. I recommend keeping your axe sharpened with all that, fellas, because you guys will naturally have an eye and an aesthetic for what looks good. And so you can bring that to your funnel hacking and your creative can look infinitely better than most of the competition. But the ironic part is oftentimes the crappy stuff works better. So,
Sweet, thanks.
yeah. That was a good
Mason,
question, though, on the content creation.
Mason, Aiden, Aman, Estelan, Jeremy, Jorge, guys got anything? All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, guys, we owe Drew a round of applause for sharing all these golden nuggets with us.
Happy to give back. And so it's always fun to come on. And what niches are you guys all in, out of curiosity?
You know mine, fitness.
I do gym, meds, Amon's med spa still, right, buddy?
I'm not in med spa. Me and Cameron are in air duct cleaning now.
Ooh, you pivoted.
Yeah,
Interesting. How's that going?
really good. At least
Okay.
I enjoy a lot. I'll definitely dive into like how the back. I don't know if you're saying, but
I have to peace out like in 10 minutes, but I'll have to offline with you because I'm
yeah,
curious.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys who played in that space, and that kind of I think checks the boxes, right? Like what? Well, we'll
We
offline.
we do more low ticket and then high ticket on the back end. So it's like $97 offers, and then on the back end we coach them to like sell. I mean, I think they're at like the highest typically is around 2,000. Some people get higher than that,
Okay.
but I
Yeah,
would say
like, and the other thing I will like to that point where even though I always talk about the $3,500 like average ticket price, that's not like ironic concrete rule. For example, I had somebody come to me and want to hack EV chargers in the garage and backup generators for homes. And so I did exactly what was it Daniel? What I just told you, Daniel. I went in and I'm like, I built out my stuff and I told the guy, I set expectations. I'm like, dude, I'm going to give it my best shot to funnel hack this for you, but it may suck and we'll know within 2 weeks. And, if you're cool with losing the money, I won't take a cut on it. I'm just going to put I think it was like $600 all to ad spend just to see if we could crack this. And sure enough, we did. And we were able, like his average ticket price is nowhere near $3,500, but the cost per lead was so low and no
yeah,
one else was running creative on it, where we
yeah,
were just scooping up all the interest. And these were all qualified buyers. I'm like, oh, this is just like
yeah,
one of those little niches where when you find it and it's gold, you can just rinse and repeat anywhere.
yeah, yeah,
And that works there because the economics scale. Because as long as they're getting enough leads and they're making enough money to pay your rate, it doesn't matter what their average ticket rate is.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll definitely have to connect because I'll share what we do there.
sorry, we dovetailed there, guys. But like Danny, what niche are you in?
I'm in like photography, so helping
Okay,
photographers like get sessions,
very cool, very cool. Because I think
leading to weddings, high ticket.
Koshi cracked that niche, right? Yeah, right, Koshi?
So Riviera kind of figured out how to how to help portrait photographers. And so he was doing that with his girlfriend. I'm like, dude, you're already cracking this, you're already doing this with your girl. Why don't we like go out and help out other portrait photographers? So we're exploring portrait photography, like a little like sub niches, like people that want to take photos with their dogs, boudoir photography, a few different things there.
Cool, cool. I love that. What about you, Jeremy? Oh, you're muted.
That was great. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me? Sorry.
I can't.
I will say this in the voice of Donald Trump. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Drew, we're trying to make med spas great again.
Oh, yes, med
We're
spas,
trying to
yes.
bring them from no bookings to a full calendar. We feel we can do that.
So many people with bad agencies. We're going to get that fixed, okay? We're going to be a good agency, maybe the best ever. That's what they say. That's what we're doing. Look at that crowd. What a great crowd.
That's great. I love it. You should do your sales calls like that.
Yeah. Either I got about 20 of those. So yeah,
That's good.
that's
That's
how
good.
I
And then
feel. I got to make them great again.
I love it. And then Aiden, are you still in the niches that we discussed?
Yeah, doing a lot of kitchen and cabinet stuff. Getting into almost any like trade that will let us run the cost quiz for them. But bro, what we're getting into right now is we're getting into custom homes, and we're able to get like 40% of the leads that already own land, which is apparently is the golden ticket for them. But anyways, yeah, custom home stuff. It's crazy.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Essalon? Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, you actually did. So that was
Okay,
yeah.
good.
So same thing as Daniel. Photography, I like helping photographers get clients.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that.
hmm
Cool.
Being
And
here.
then Jorge? Have I met Jorge?
I don't know if he's here right now, but he does jujitsu.
Okay, cool. Sweet guys, well, that's awesome. And how long, like, I want to be respectful of the time because I know you had an agenda, but I like to get to know you guys. How long have you guys been with Koshik?
Different guys have been here for different lengths of time. Um, so I would say Estelon's our newer guy, and he's been with us for about 6 months. So I stopped promoting the Center Marketing Cheat Code, I would say mid 2025. And so
Okay,
everybody that's here is before that.
very cool. Sweet. Well, thank you guys for hosting me.
Thank you
It's
for
always fun to talk about. It's easy to talk about and it's fun. So I love the questions because it makes me
thank you.
think and be like, oh yeah, that's how we solved that, or that actually worked.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Drew. Again, if you have questions or if you want to run anything by me or anything like that, obviously let's stay in touch and have a
Yeah,
conversation. So, but guys, again, everybody, we owe Drew a huge thank you, and Drew, thank you so much again for spending time with us today.
you bet, fellas. Good to be here. I'll catch you
Thank you.
later.
See ya.
Dang. So who here thought that was super cool?
Yeah, that was dope.
That was dope as hell. Man, what anybody like just really quick, I know we have a lot to get through, but like just off the top of your head, what's maybe like the biggest takeaway or the coolest thing that you learned in the last 40 minutes or so?
I think that just I mean, after talking with someone that has done something like that for a long time, it's very interesting that they know like the specifications of what works and what's not. Because like when you're first starting out, you're like, oh, I just need to sign more and sign more, sign more. He's like, this is the ticket value, this is the lead cost, this is this. And I think that those numbers are super important, knowing that because I mean, those are your numbers. They're just so important. Like without your numbers, you have no idea what will work and what won't. So it's kind of interesting because you can explore all these types of different niches, but as long as you know your numbers, you'll know it's scalable and you'll know what will actually make you money. Um, it's just interesting because I feel like we're all in our own different niches. I think that, it's kind of like what Estelan was saying, which he was like, how can I apply this to me? Um, and I think there are little things that you can and can't do, but at the end of the day, just remember like you're in your own niche as well. So that may not work for you, but it's interesting to hear what's working for other people and trying to like explore different avenues of that to see if it could work for you as well. Because like the way that I'm thinking about it is like the way that he does acquisition is basically a different funnel than some of us use. So it's like if we ever have something that dries up, it's like, oh, we know that this kind of acquisition system works, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to keep him too long, but one of the things I was curious about is, how at the very beginning he mentioned I had like five, six niches. I was curious. I was like, okay, well, how do you even come to that? Are you just sleeping at night and you're just like, oh, I think this would work? Or like, are we going to ChatGPT and asking certain questions like, hey, $3,500 ticket price and da 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 da. And then from
Yeah,
here, like a list of 20
that's
people.
yeah,
Which,
that's kind of what I asked him as well. I was like, how do you know like which niches are gonna crush?
right, right, right.
And
Um,
a lot of those came from me and him connecting like the decks and patios, the kitchens and bathroom remodels and stuff. That's all that stuff is exactly what we were doing. And so that I think that might have actually been the snapshot that I shared with him was for decks and patios. So it's cool to hear that because there's plenty to go around. It's awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good that you brought that up because even again with that conversation with Aman, it seems like he's always kind of keeping an open eye and an open ear for okay, what kind of niches could fit this glove that I've put together. So it's good that you brought that up, Aiden. Um, Other things that you guys found interesting, that you guys found cool?
This is creative process. Yeah, it sounds like he didn't really understand the hydrometer or doesn't really think about it, but I think he's kind of doing it inadvertently by just throwing when it fatigues, he just does that much creative at scale, I think. Um, yeah, I think that's something to think about is like batch creatives just to feed the beast.
Yeah, that was super cool. Like his kind of SOP to be able to get creatives, copy, ads down so fast. So that was really good. So hopefully you guys, obviously it's being recorded, you guys can go back to that and kind of utilize some of that when your ads start to die out. So that was really cool. Um, Anything else, guys, before we continue and give the spotlight to Aman?
I actually have something. We didn't ask him, but it would have been good to ask him what kind of like ad structure he uses if it's because right now a lot of us are doing like the CBO and what is it like the four ad sets with the same ads. It would have been nice to know exactly what he's doing in terms of that, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Aiden, did you go over that with him by any chance? To me, I'm guessing he just like very basic one campaign ad set ads in there. That's what I'm kind of guessing. Um,
Uh, we never went over the horizontal scaling stuff, but it's like I did show him the creatives we were using in our ads, and is exactly like he said. The crappier quality it is, or the crappier it is, the better the ad is going to do. So
You know what
so
I learned as well, just really quick on like think of that. There's a video I saw, I forgot who it was by. I don't know, maybe I'm like butchering it, but I think his name was like Banner Matt, but he like helps all these types of different niches run ads and basically after like the Andromeda update, he's like there's different ad structures that work really well. And something that was interesting to me that I didn't necessarily like think about at the time was like if you throw all of your ads into one ad set, you know how typically it will spend a majority of that money on one particular ad. So like you have like three ads in there, it's like a $40 budget, and like $30 of the budget will go to like that first ad, and then the other two will be I get like $5. And you're like, well, dude, what the fuck? Like I want this to spend evenly. And then what we do majority of the time is we think, well, we want to test to see which one will work. But now in my mind, I'm like, dude, what is so much better is feeding ads into one ad set into the system, and then Facebook will basically use the Andromeda update to figure out which of those ads is going to perform the best. And that's the one that they spend the most money on. But the thing is, like, if that one doesn't work, just fucking turn it off and then it will pick the second best one and then you do that way instead of saying okay I'm going to spend 50 50 50 wasting $100 might as well use Facebook's data to figure out which one is going to go first. So that's something that I thought about as well and I thought that was super interesting that I've learned recently.
I think one thing we can uh, talk about this to Aman, but I think Aman he's bought a few media buying courses and tested a few different things out. But I think from my conversation with him, and he can correct me if I'm mistaken, is like he still does like things like the OG ways of like a traffic campaign and testing there and just kind of seeing I don't know what he's looking at the highest unique link click through rate or whatever, and then maybe funneling that over into like a proper leads campaign. So I don't know, but thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, anything else, guys, that you guys want to chop it up about a little bit? Just brain dump before we continue.
it just reminded me how I mean, it's like you said, it didn't happen overnight. You know, it took him a couple years to build this base of clientele, but like it just reminds me how powerful the um, free to fee is. Like I have a couple of those contractors that we were doing that with initially. I still work with two of them um, to this day. And anyways, it really is so powerful. I mean, not to say that like everybody should do it or that, yeah, like everybody's cut out to do it, but I don't know. It just is such a good offer. It's an irresistible offer.
How many
I don't
people did you close from that initially, Aiden? And because you have two that stayed with you, how many people did you initially close?
There was like three or four. I did trials with probably like seven, eight
Yeah.
different contractors, but
Yeah. So if you did seven or eight and then two of them stay with you and they're still with you, I mean, yeah, exactly. That speaks to how powerful that strategy is.
100%.
Um, yeah. I I don't know. I feel like I'm getting shiny object syndrome. It feels like we both are, Aiden. Like, let's try this again. But yeah,
Well,
it's super
dude,
powerful.
with the custom homes, we launched this new campaign for this new builder that we were doing it with, and they're getting like $1 and $2 leads, bro. And they own land or they're actively searching for land. Anyways, it's crazy. It could work for custom home builders. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It might be worth giving it a shot again. I mean, I didn't know that you still retain two people. That's huge. Um, yeah, that's big, man. We can talk about that, man. But yeah, guys, one more time, anything else you guys want to talk about before we continue? I guess maybe a better question might be like, is there anything that you guys learned that you guys are like, hey, I'm definitely taking this and applying this to my agency?
I
Yeah,
had
I
to
wrote the solid notes. Oh, good.
I had to like understand what he's talking about, but the whole Sora thing, getting the ad created for that, that's pretty cool. Gotta actually try it out and that, yeah, I would say that's the number one thing that's everybody could try super quick.
Yeah, for sure. Like his strategy for like coming up with brand new ads that he was going over with Riviera, that's huge. That was huge. That we can all apply for sure. And you were saying something?
I was just saying, yeah, I wrote down some gold nuggets that I'm definitely gonna apply. I like the if the 250 is gonna break your business, you're probably not the right fit for us. We could definitely use that. Um, People don't cancel me because we don't get them leads. They cancel me because they can't close. Is also, although that's not really like, I like it, but I don't know how useful it'll be for us. Um, let's see, like, are you a good salesman? I'm looking for the best salesman. Um, and then just like getting a VA and then 20% of bookings he gets for his clients comes from the comments that they put on their ads. So that's really cool. Like shows how much value there is and like having some sort of automation to go after comments and ads. Um, Getting like a decent VA, having good incentives, and then using those VAs to get other VAs as well as giving good advice on how much you should pay the other VAs rather than figuring out on your own. Like utilize a good relationship with like your VA to know how to handle other VAs. That's kind of a cool hack. And then connecting the Stripe to the Facebook ads. It was such a genius idea. Um, so we have that issue where people's like cards stop, but they still get the leads come in, and then we have to remind them multiple times. So I'm definitely gonna see if we can implement that.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. There's a lot there. Um, but yeah. Anything else, guys, that you guys are like, hey, I'm gonna use that? Just the sheer amount of like automation systems like was really cool for me to see. And it just makes sense. It's like as you get so many more clients, you have to figure out how to be lazy. So it was really cool to see how his brain works to like just figure out, okay, this is a problem I'm having. How do I use automations and systems to solve that? So that was a big takeaway for me. But yeah. Okay, guys, let's if there's nothing else, let's go ahead and keep going. Yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and introduce our next person, which is Aman and Cam. So in terms of Cam, you guys probably saw the message. Cam's got some things going on, so he couldn't be here. So Aman will be hopping in for us. But just a really quick background, just so you guys know, if you guys haven't met Aman yet. Aman came from the Center Marketing Cheat Code, my automated webinar funnel back in 2020. He used the course materials in some capacity to help him land a job. Um, I don't know if they consider a marketing agency, but it was definitely in the background where their background was definitely in marketing advertising, right? They were using a lot of paid ads in order to grow their business. Aman kind of had this foresight to realize just because of that business and it was at the infancy stage and just all the stuff that was going is like, hey, look, maybe it's a little bit unstable and I need to plant seeds elsewhere because I don't know what's exactly happening with this company and where I'll be with them in a year's time. Just because of the volatility. And so He joined us around August, in August of 2023. At that point, he launched a six figure 6 weeks. He did it, closed a deal from that. He niched down to med spas. We got together, we worked for a few months, and that eventually got him to a 10K a month. And the thing is, he didn't like various aspects of the call funnel and that particular niche. Like for example, like doing the sales calls. I don't want to speak too much to this. Maybe Alan can correct me if I'm mistaken. But another thing was just like clients, kind of being a little bit of a pain in the ass. Like, hey, these are poor quality or this or that. And so that was, I think, emotionally taxing on Aman. And so we spent a lot of time talking about mindset and some of those things that he was dealing with. And in order to combat that, we tried various things. For example, going from med spas to going sub niches, a sub niche within med spa, which is like med spas that offer GLP-1 medications. Another thing we tried was the free to fee. But again, he was finding some issues there. For example, like making those initial calls. So we tried to hire a VA from different sites, and again, there were just issues there as well. And so we tried, all these various things, and eventually just got to a place where like, hey, maybe we'll just go back to like what was working with the call funnel and these med spas, and what got me to 10K per month. Now that's his journey, and I think going over to Cam next makes sense because then they kind of combine forces at this point. But we had Cam who hopped in, and before hopping in, he was a duct cleaning technician for a few years. So he built out quite a few sales skills. And I'm going over this with you guys, by the way, for a reason. Like, for example, when it came to Drew, the reason he's successful is a lot of reasons, but also he built out all these skills when it came to hiring, training, managing, incentivizing people. And so just like that, when it comes to Aman and Cam, a big part of it, I think, was just Cam's background and just being in the trenches and building up his sales skills. That's a huge part of why Cam and Aman work, I think, so well. He spent about $30,000 in courses and coaching programs before joining us in July of 2024. He was one of the first few people that I saw come in and absolutely crush the 6 weeks. I think within like 2 weeks, he closed his first deal. And I just knew he was a savage when it came to sales. Built out a call funnel. We spent a few weeks trying to dial in ads. They weren't working right away, but once we got them dialed in, he was crushing. He was just closing deals left and right. But like Aman, he had a few things that he didn't necessarily like, and that was after we got him to 10K per month. And I should probably bring this up, but Cam actually literally quit. So funny story. If he was here, I'd crack some jokes at him, but Cam was great because he was always on the coaching calls and he would literally stay until the very end. He would stay until the very end every single time asking a bunch of questions. And then I remember there was like a week or two where he wasn't there. And I was like, wait, something's going on. And what I came to find is that he felt kind of burnt down. He was looking at these other ads and he was trying to become a high ticket closer. And so, yeah, there's a time where basically he quit. And through this whole process, again, he got some help from Aman, just going back and forth at that time. Aman was several chapters ahead of him, so he had more of a grasp on the tech side of things. Eventually, him and Cam talked about joining forces. And the reason for that is Cam really likes the sales aspect. He loves being on these calls, closing deals, versus Aman really likes to be on the back end operation. As you guys can see, a lot of things that Aman wrote down were like techie stuff, right? Techie operations stuff. That's what tickles his fancy, if you will. And they decided to join forces about 6 months ago. I could have the timeline a little bit wrong, but it sounds like things have been really great since then. And I wanted to set this up because you guys can kind of see a yin versus yang. And if Cam was here, you guys would get it. I understand his personality and his strengths, but I'm hugely against partnerships for the most part. And you guys will meet Tony a little bit later, who came in with Adam. And every single person I've seen come in with a partnership has failed sooner or later. And when I look at Aman and Cam, I don't say that to dread or be gloomy or anything like that. But when I look at Cam and Aman, I use the word yin and yang because honestly, they really are, right? I don't see anything where it's like, I feel like I'm doing too much work or you didn't hold up like, they just perfectly complement each other. I don't know if this is even appropriate to say, but when I think of them, I think Alex Hormozy and Layla Hormozy. So yeah, so I don't know. So who's Alex and who's Layla? I don't know. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So that being said, I'll kind of stop talking. If I miss anything, I'm on. Please clear that up in terms of your background, your story, and then we can kind of get into the things that you guys want to that you want to talk about. Aman.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. I feel like the reason why me and Cameron's does work so well is the whole yin yang. So like I always think about why ours works really well. I'm like, is there anything that could go wrong? All these things. And I think of like, why do other partnerships not work out well? I wish he was here because he's like you would see that dynamic between us if you haven't met him before. He has like such a different energy, but we're both very similar. And so essentially I think a lot about like, okay, why do other partnerships not work and what will make this one work? And I think the biggest reason why me and his is working really well right now is because we both grew our agency separately. And so because we're both, I don't know how long he did it. I think he did his for like a year. I did mine for a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. And so we come to find all these skills that we get along the way, and we naturally find our strong suit, but we know each other's skills really well too. Like I know what it's like to be on the sales call. He know what it's like to figure out the ads and build out the systems and stuff. So when he's struggling on something on the sales call, I can hear it and give him feedback, be like, okay, break it down like this or say it like this. And he's like, oh, this is great. And then he says it and it works. And then whenever I struggle with something on the systems, on the ads, he's like, dude, like I figured out this ad a while back. It's like AI narration. Why don't you try that? And then we tried that and it works. And so like I think there's a lot of understanding of each other's ends, and we naturally come to find our strong suits and what we do. And so like when our conversation when we decided to partner up, he was like, I messaged him, I was like, oh dude, I'm cool figuring out some cool AI stuff, like I'll have to show you. And he's like, dude, in my ideal world, I could just be on sales calls, I could just coach the clients, and I would just give you like half, like a 50% for just building out the AI and doing all that stuff for them, because I don't really want to do all that stuff. I'm like, well, in my ideal world, like the clients magically fall in my lap and I just build out all the ads, I do all the funnels, type like head of growth type stuff. And so I was like, we talked about doing partnership. I was a little bit hesitant because I'm like, these always sound great on paper, but when you kind of get to the other side, it's like, okay, you find that they're not responsive enough or something like that. But we just did like one client, and then he just threw me in the Slack channel. He's like, hey guys, my partner. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. And next thing you know, we were just like, it's like that yin and yang energy, and it's been enjoyable. So that's kind of where we're at now. We've been growing, our business together. We revamped from his business that was hobby media to the duct agency, and really just trying to build that like brand feel, that premium agency feel. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of where we're at. Did you want to like, I guess, ask any questions and then I can kind of take it from there? How would you like to how would you like me to navigate?
I think, same thing as Drew is like if you want to just maybe kind of work your way through the bullet points on them, that would be
Okay.
great. And then, we can kind of like every few questions periodically just kind of inject a few questions as a group, and then maybe at the very end kind of rant just like kind of like what we do with Drew.
Okay. Also, I just want to say before I get into this, like I feel like when I first saw Koshik's ad, I don't know, Koshik, if you remember which funnel I saw, but you were basically teaching about how to get to 10K a month using like cold calling or something. And it's like if you just get 10 clients making 10,000, 2,000, you'll get, make 100K a month. That was sort of the click for me to want to get into marketing, because I was just a videographer at that point. And that was, for some reason, that clicked. Like I was just hungry for that information. And I was like, for a while I struggled getting any clients at all. And I would always think to myself, like, okay, I went through the course, I have these skills, I know how to run ads. I just need a client that I can like that trusts me to like run their ads. And I kept visualizing this feeling of helping other businesses. And so, through the course, the coaching call, that allows me, like to this day, like today, I think about how I'm servicing all these clients and I'm running their ads, and I can see, like visually see how much their business has changed. And I'm very thankful to be able to do that today and like have been able to left my job. I was working really closely with Kushik for like over a year, and he, like he said, a lot of it was the mindset stuff. I would send him these long voice notes. We'd have these like long conversations back and forth. So many times I could have quit, and I did end up going so many different routes. Like I feel like I would get clients results, but they wouldn't get the results that they needed. So I'd build out like different funnels. I tried the free to fee. I tried all these different things, and even though those weren't the things I ended up going with, I built so much skills along the way where now when I work with Cam, I can see like, okay, this would be the best tool for this. This would be the best tool for this. So if you are in that base and you're just like, jumping from thing to thing and trying out these new skills, um, there you are building these big set of skills. And luckily for me, it was like a thing of like luck meets skill or whatever that saying is. So I just want to preface it with that. So thank you, Kaushik, for all your help in getting me here. Um, I want to say, so I guess going through the question. So current number of clients. So just so you kind of know what our offer is, we essentially sell the first week for $425, right? So we sell as like this $2,000 a month thing, but they can get started with their first week for 425. And that 425 doesn't start as soon as they onboard. So they pay us the 425. We onboard them, we set up their ads, we launch their ads, and only once they actually get into the home, then their 7 day starts. So their first week only starts when they actually get into their first home and do the job. And at that point, they probably may have like more bookings on the calendar because they've had all that time before that first home to call the leads and stuff. So by the time the 7 days then, they could be making a lot of money. We've had clients that literally made like 20K within that trial. Like it's insane. And so by the time they get to the end of the first week, we're just like, hey, like, basically since you start with us, you're able to accomplish this many leads and you got this many bookings and you made this much in revenue. It's 521 a week moving forward. You down for it? And they're just like, yeah, like it's just literally a Slack message that we send them. They're like, yeah, like send me the link. And then Cam sends them the link. They pay the 521 and it just automatically does a weekly payment. And then we just continue the ads going. We have weekly coaching calls now where Cameron is doing coaching calls with anyone who wants to hop on just like this. Cameron was also an air duct cleaner for 6 years. So he can actually talk about like what to do in the home. He has that like industry experience. So that being said, we have 12 clients on that weekly recurring. And then they're each paying about 521 weekly, so about 2,000 a month. And then 3 of them were his past clients before I started working with them that are still with us. 9 are from the new clients that we've gotten together. We have 3 that are currently on that 1 week trial. I feel very confident that most of them are gonna turn into weeklies. And then since we've been working together, we've closed 23 clients total. That's including like the first week as well. And but I would say like half of them, maybe even a little bit less, will actually turn into a second weeker. And I would say that number is a little bit higher because for some reason this past month or two, we've gotten like a first weekers, but then they like ghost us or they like disappeared. And so that was a thing recently. But yeah, and then profit margin is around 75%, I would say. So it's been good in that sense. Any questions so far before I kind of dive in a little bit more?
I had a quick question, just to clarify about the trial. So let's just say theoretically, today's Monday, he closes somebody for, again, collects, let's just say $400. I know you guys have different numbers.
Mhm.
And so you launch ads for them, and let's say they get into the very first home next Monday. Then the 7 days will start. And so by next like Friday, Saturday, that's when it's like, hey, look, your trial is over. Would you like to continue? So technically, a free 7 days could be like 14 days. Is that,
Yeah,
am I understanding correctly?
100%.
That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. I see. I see. So it's not
yeah.
like okay, cool. Makes a lot of sense.
And we've had it where it was like 3 weeks or something. So
That makes so much sense because so here's a big thing, guys. Estelon, Riviera, Ronnie, everybody that is going week to week. I think a big thing that Alman and Cam do that makes it work is a lot of times when we stay a 7 day trial, we launch the ads and then we wait 7 days to see the number of leads that come in and everything, and then we try to upsell or retain during week 2. Versus what they do is they get that activation point, right? So Hormozy talks about that. He talks about how, like, what are the things that somebody needs to do in order to stay long term? They need to open up the browser. They need to click this link. They need to do this, and for example, in a SaaS. So for them, what I feel like a big thing is that activation point is getting inside the door. Once they're inside the door, it's like, why the fuck would I not continue to pay these guys? These guys just made like the $400 I just spent. I just made that back. So it's very hard to say no to that. So hopefully that makes sense, Estelan and Ronnie. So it's like, hey guys, we're gonna set up this trial for you. It's week to week. by the way, your trial does not end until you hop on. I mean, it would be hard for sales calls because they don't actually necessarily collect money. But that's what they're doing is they're getting them into the door, so they actually get them a customer. So basically, it's like saying, hey, I'm going to do this trial for you, and then I'm not going to charge you a single dime until I made your customer. That's another way to reframe it. So that makes a whole lot of sense in terms of like why their offer works. So I just want to bring that up really quick.
Yep.
Are you guys
Um,
covering the ad spend?
sorry, say that again.
Are you guys covering the ad spend?
No, no, we make them cover. So they're paying 2000, the 521 a week is to us, and then they're covering their own ad spend. And so they'll spend like $50 a day. Some people spend 150 a day, but it is nice because we don't have to like budget the money that they give us towards the ad spend. We literally just have them fully attached and they cover the SMS cost and go high level. So I don't know if any of you guys have to dealt with like the SMS costs from Go High Level, but part of I'll kind of break it down when I talk about the tech access call, but we get their credit card on there, and then we also bring up the SMS a little bit, so then that way we kind of profit from that as well. So it is nice in that sense. So we kind of have like the 521, but we do make quite a bit from the SMS as well.
Esteban, if you were wondering if they're charging ad spend during the trial phase, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean if we're spending ads? Oh, like we're spending ad spend on our ads to get people on the trial, but they're still using their ad spend for their ads.
During the trial. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it. Thank you, Amon, and nice meeting you, man.
yeah, nice to meet you too. Let me see. So from there, so I guess I could kind of give a breakdown in terms of like A through Z, what a client goes through when they
If you want to share, if you want to stay there, if you want to share by sharing screen, whatever is easiest for you. I
yeah.
did notice that you guys went to the call funnel, back to call funnel. All those tests today, those are me.
Yeah. I figured that was you. I was like, God damn it, Coachy. Yeah, we did a funnel where instead of doing a call funnel directly, part of what I was feeling was, okay, well, if they can just see our testimonials and see how like crazy results they get, and they could just get a little bit more information from us, then I feel like we could get more people through the door. Because for me, like I wouldn't feel comfortable like going on a calendar and booking for a demo because I feel like I'm going to get sold to. I'd probably want to get some value from, or at least gain a little bit more trust with this, random company that I saw online. So my theory was, okay, let's get them to fill out their name and phone number and email, send them to a video page where they can watch a video, see the testimonials, and then there'll also be a calendar booking on that. And they'll receive a text from us. So Cameron can just call them directly after they opt in regardless. And I was like, okay, this is gonna open up a lot more people who may not feel comfortable just booking the call. And it did. Like we did profit from this funnel. But we did come to find that there were so many, such a easy barrier of entry that people who don't have duct cleaning businesses, they can still opt in because they may be curious about what that case study video is. And they'll be like, okay, well, when I do get all my stuff together, then this is the video I can watch. And so we were getting a lot of people in the research phase. Research phase meaning people who don't have duct cleaning equipment. They literally can't start. They're like researching on how to start their business. And so we were getting a lot of people. We did get some of our best clients through this funnel, but it was just like we were spending so much time just like nurturing them. And he was just calling so many leads that we're like, okay, when I look at, say, I don't know if you guys know Sabri Subri, he has like the book called Sell Like Crazy. On the back end, he has his agency. So he has this free book that he advertises. And then he basically also has this free 30-minute call funnel, right? And so what I'm guessing is that has this call funnel that he gets. And then on top of that, he does the free book to nurture those people who are not as cold or not as warm to get them warmer so that he can sell them on the calendar page. So it seems like he has a calendar regardless. And so now what my theory is that, okay, we do the call funnel, we can probably hit our revenue goals from this alone. And then if we have the capacity or we maybe hire some salespeople in the future, we could do the video funnel on top of this and then just have better nurturing on the back end where we have sales guys like little bit more aggressive, but that way we can expand from just like the people who are already problem aware, if that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, so that's why we're doing, and we launched the call funnel like what, Saturday, and he already had like 2 discovery calls today. He had 1 demo today. So like, it's already like he's already back in a place where he's not having to fight tooth and nail for every lead. He can literally just see the calendar. The people who are on the calendar, they're already have their duct clean equipment. It's pretty rare that they don't. So we're just gonna run with that, hit our revenue goals, and then we can evaluate if we want to do the video funnel down the line, like on top of what we're doing.
Guys, really quick. So you guys all know the call funnel ad goes to counter page, goes to thank you page. So that's what they initially started with. And then what Aman's talking about is he's saying, look, here, people see the ad, they go to the call counter page, and a percentage of people just may not want to book that call. So we're losing a huge part of the market. So why don't we just take baby steps and get people comfortable? So the funnel that they built out is ad. The next page was an opt-in page, and they were giving something away, name, email, phone number. And so once Cam has it, he can just like set them if he wants to in case they don't book a call. On the next page, there is the typical video at the top, and then there's a calendar and there's some testimonials. And so that's what Aman's kind of getting at if you guys like are a little bit more visual. And then after that page, then there's a thank you page. And I think what Aman is saying is what I'd be curious to hear about is the cost per acquisition. If what's better in terms of cost per, but there's 2 variables. One's cost per acquisition, and then there's one that's cost per dollars per hour earned. And so what I'm kind of hearing from Aman is the first funnel, whatever cost per acquisition, the second funnel, cost per acquisition, they're both profitable. But the second one, the cost per dollar, cost per time investment of Cam maybe is not the best. So his
Yeah.
dollar per hour earned is actually lower. And obviously, if Cam is the one that's doing the selling, there's only so much time and energy and mental bandwidth he has to, he doesn't want to be hammering leads. So does that make sense, guys? And Aman, if you want to speak on that in terms of cost per acquisition, or if I'm
Yeah, I
misunderstanding.
can actually show my numbers because I feel like you can dissect my numbers better than I can. So can you see my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the 2-step funnel. This is the video funnel. So this is the total. These are the 2 months that we were running it. So cost per lead here was around $23 total. So cost per lead, you're gonna get a little bit lower because you're getting a lot more people. Only 3 of them of the 172 actually booked when they got to that thank you page.
Oh, wow.
But the rest of the people that we acquired, which was 10, was from just like Cam texting them and calling them. But you would see like we would have a lot of discovery calls. And then that's where we kind of had a idea of like, okay, we're talking to a lot of like non-qualified. Let's have a question that says, where are you in your duct cleaning journey? Are you going through a research phase? Do you have duct cleaning equipment, just not enough jobs? Or you do have a duct cleaning business and you're getting a lot of jobs. And so they'll fill that out and that kind of gives us a better idea of like who the leads were. But like, I think we got like a 2x. So we lost a little bit on the front end, about $220 after cash collected. Because again, we're just doing the 421. So far, we're at a lifetime value of a 2.6x, meaning that I just update these numbers today, meaning that the clients who are still with us will bring this lifetime value up over time. So if these clients in the green stay with us forever, then this lifetime value will go up forever. So I'm kind of just saying what the overall lifetime revenue ROAS is. So like cost per acquisition, you'll see it was like $400. The first week that we did this was so great. It was like $80 a close. And this is where we got like some of our best clients. And then these clients like have ghosted us. Some asked for refunds. Like it was just a weird batch. This one was okay. These 2 were pretty good. Yeah, but like this first one here, so we were very excited about this. But we came to find over like weeks and months that it just wasn't really working for, his workflow and just the numbers overall. And so if we look at our original funnel here,
Just really quick, Aman.
yeah,
I could be speaking too early, but to me, just common sense says that the funnel does not make a lead better or qualify them more. It is the ad that ultimately brings the people in. So the ad has not changed from either of the funnels. And so
Correct.
ultimately what matters is the cost per acquisition and cost per dollar per hour earned. And dollar per hour earned might be lower with this, but then that's where maybe a setter comes in. If the cost per acquisition is actually better on that funnel versus the call funnel. Now, if the cost per acquisition is better on the call funnel, well, then it beats in terms of cost per acquisition as well as dollar per hour earned.
Right. And I would say that the two-step funnel or the video funnel may be good for leads who are not as warm. Maybe we get them to a phase where we teach them how to get their duct cleaning equipment, and then once they get their duct cleaning equipment, now we've entered a market that no one else is reaching because now we're reaching the people who don't even need the marketing, but we help them solve that problem, right? So that's just kind of like I feel like it'll be good. I feel like the colder, obviously, the colder, the more nurturing they need. And so I think it just makes sense to go for the hottest right now, get to our revenue goals. And if we need to expand to a colder audience, then we just need things in place to make sure that they're nurtured properly. So that's the way I see it with the video funnel. Um, and then for this, like for the call funnel, we've spent 2,000 and then upfront, we're probably, we collect about 5,000. So there's already like at least like a break even or at least a little bit more of a ROAS there. And then that has, over time. Now we got really lucky where one client has literally 3 locations with us. So they're kind of like an outlier in the sense where they've spent 23,000 where all of our other clients have spent from this time around like 5 to 6,000 if they've stayed with us. So yeah, does that make sense? So that's kind of why we're gonna one, it's just easier, kind of like you said, the cost per time for Cameron, it makes more sense with this funnel. Plus, I think it's just already a little bit more profitable.
What's the cost per acquisition on the other funnel versus this one?
So cost per acquisition here looks like it's around for the 3 months we did it is around 263. And then for the other one, I think it was like 400. So we're like
Wow.
up 100. Yeah. And again, that first week that we did it was like $70 for an acquisition. And we're like, oh, this is gold. But it kind of slowly lost its,
Are
momentum.
you were you optimizing for anything different, like at the ad set level, like optimizing for lead versus submit application, or was the pixel trained in a different way in the call funnel versus the other one?
That's true. We did do it for leads, whereas the call funnel is for schedule. So there's that.
Yeah, so that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, if you guys had a setter in place and you guys paid enough, not, I'm sorry, paid where it made sense, it might make more sense to do, that funnel type,
Yeah.
as a call funnel. But
I also think the setter would have been fine. Like I think it would have been fine if Cam made 100 calls a day if it meant more acquisitions, but he was making all these calls. We were trying to track his calls here. So like you would see he made like 91 outreach attempts, 40 answered a call, one booked a demo that
holy
time. So
shit.
like yeah, so like and like here 25 answer call, 3 booked, 15 answer call, 4 booked here. But then like I don't think any of these like this one like ended up in a acquisition or something. So it's just I don't know, it just wasn't worth it right now. I think if we have more like content or more things we could give on the back end, I do think that we can profit from this, but at least for now, I'd rather just get to a certain revenue goal and then have the resources and money to be able to expand if we need to do that.
Yeah. Estelon, Aiden, do you guys have questions on this? Because what he's going over is, again, I see a lot of people that are like, hey, let me test out this kind of funnel, or let me test out that kind of funnel. It's like, hey, I have this call funnel, but like, should I be putting an opt-in before it? And this is the thing of like, hey, somebody spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of, I don't know how many hours, they've got the data. So is there a question that you guys have in terms of that? Like some of you guys might be like, hey, I'm running this call funnel, always picking up this, that, versus, again, you're kind of seeing like their numbers where they have an opt-in. Do you guys have questions or anything?
Sorry, just to get some clarity, I kind of had family coming in and out a little bit during that. So the opt-in funnel, technically was getting more leads, but they were lower quality, and the cost per acquisition was just not worth it.
100%. Yeah. And we're spending more time to get those acquisitions because you would have to like call so many times.
But the one variable that we have to consider though, Aiden, is they're optimizing for lead versus schedule. So schedule for the call funnel and then lead for the lead funnel. So that's definitely like something that if you guys want to do some more testing on,
Yeah,
that's a variable to consider.
yeah. Actually, I'm gonna write that.
I'm kind of curious after you're done typing that. I'm on.
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious how the video testimonials are like how you the layout of that page. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I can show that.
And Aman, when you say schedule, we're talking about like at the ad set level, right? Where you're optimizing. We're talking about that optimizing for lead versus schedule at the ad set
Right,
level.
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah.
cool.
And like my yeah, so basically I had it for leads for that. So Aiden, for what you're asking is to see how I structure like the testimonials.
yeah, exactly. Because we're starting to get a lot of video testimonials, and they're great. But
Mhm.
and I agree. I feel like that's a great way to break the ice and start to build a little bit more trust instead of us tooting our own horn.
Mhm.
I guess I haven't been able to like. I feel like I haven't really been able to implement it in a you know acquisition funnel like this or something.
Okay. Yeah, let me show you how I originally had it. So I actually modeled it after a different agency. Like I literally copied their page fatigue. So if you think it like doesn't look that good or whatever, it's literally just me modeling after them. So here, so we had the video. We tried to make this like a little bit more high quality. I actually don't know if this helped because originally, um, we did come to find that it created a little bit more resistance after just initially now not now but like before when we initially did this and we're like maybe there's just something more accessible about the loom video like it just feels like a guy you're talking to versus this feels like maybe a little bit high production or something but this is kind of how it looks obviously it looks a little bit different on mobile but this is essentially you get the results we had the video here, and then it's just I kind of have like the results kind of in bold at the top. I'd say that's the main thing. They had the before and after, so I just added what the before and after look like, and it has the video here. And then I'm a big fan of like the daily or the CEO diary or something. I like how they edit their interviews, so I would edit the intros similar.
What surprised me the most was the amount of leads so fast. Like I remember the first night I went to sleep, I woke up with like 9 or 10 leads already by 7 a.m. I was like, whoa. I was like, good morning. I called Michael. Michael, the drought is over. You were like, look, guys, you don't have to go with me. But if you would, this is what's going to happen. ABC. We give you a chance and
then I'll just go into the
lead generation and
so we have like an intro on all. I don't know how much that does in terms of like helping, but I like it. So
I was gonna say, do you have any data to suggest that this stuff helps or not?
no, I mean we have people that are like, hey, we checked out the testimonials. Like, we would love to have a
That's
conversation.
something. That's good.
It's something, yeah. The testimonials do 100% help. And it's very nice because we always push them before the sales call to watch the testimonials. And so I feel like I've seen a lot of people and when we like the other day we like onboarded this guy and he's like, hey man, so sorry it's been taking me so long to get this rolling, but like, I really want to do this and I want to like I want to see myself on the testimonial page. Like he literally said that. And I was like, oh shit, like it's almost like a Hall of Fame kind of thing, I guess that they see it. So he seemed excited about the idea of like being on the testimonial page. So I would say it's 100% worth like just getting as many and the more and like if you don't have a lot just do what I did where there's just a lot of text and so it kind of feels long but this is only like 6 videos so um,
One thing I want to bring up really quick that's a little bit off topic, but I think is very important for you guys. So like Riviera, Estelon, Ronnie, you guys we're all running the call funnel, right? But here's the thing. Two things. Remember, he's optimizing for schedule. And I I'm pretty sure this is true. He's optimizing for schedule at the ad set level. Now, What Aman and Cam are doing is they're not using those really simple text images that everybody else is using. They're using high quality videos. So Aman, if you have like the Facebook page pulled up really quick, so one of the ads is the one that I wrote out with I scripted out with Cam. The other one's a testimonial based one. So here's my theory. My theory is that these people, because we're optimized for schedule, these are people that are likely to see something and then book a call. And these videos are doing a lot of heavy lifting to get these people indoctrinated so that they're like, they watch the video and then they're like, hell yeah, they click, they go to the counter page, and because Facebook knows their behavior, those people are optimized to want to book a call. So I think it's a little bit different than like what you're talking about, like cold versus warm, whatever. It's like Facebook knows these people are optimized to want to book a call. They see a really good video ad and they're like, okay, I'm down. So I just want to bring that up for you guys. If you guys want to be Riviera, Estelon, if you guys want to be testing it out, you guys want to script it, because Estelon, you talked about maybe creating some video ads and stuff. Because I know you guys are doing the image ads and you guys are opting for a lead at the ad set level. So I just want to bring that up really quick. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have questions, let me know. But yeah, this is like the one that I scripted out with Cam um, a year or so ago, and it's still working, it seems like. And then they've got like a testimonial based one.
Yeah, and the testimonial is just
I'd be passing out door hangers or knocking on people's doors or hounding people on Facebook. I don't have to do that. You're duct cleaning first.
so yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, guys. I think that does make a huge difference. So anyways,
Have you tested these videos against like those plain text ads?
I feel like I did test the plain text ads before when I first started with him. I just couldn't get any leads with it. So I feel like I've gotten leads with the house painting. Like that's how I was getting my clients when I did the house painting for a little bit. But I just couldn't crack it for the duct cleaning.
when you did the house painting, Aman, you might not remember, but were you optimized for lead or schedule at the ad set level?
Probably schedule too.
Okay. So my theory, guys, is if you guys have a really quality video ad and you optimize for schedule, that pairs really well with the call funnel versus an image ad call funnel. Image ad equals lead optimization.
You guys are doing image and then the lead optimization.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So I guess I could talk about the flow in terms of like what we do and that because I feel like there's a lot of golden nuggets along the way. So yeah, they see an ad like this. I'll just kind of use the call funnel, even though we've been using the two-step funnel recently, but I'll just kind of talk about it just from the call funnels perspective. So they'll click on the ad, they'll opt in. We send out like a text that's like, hey, like this is Cameron, just want to say hi. They're like, hey, like looking forward to our call. Usually that's what they'll say. And then we'll have automation before the discovery call. I don't think he ever really like calls them right away or anything. I think he just waits till the call time and they'll receive the text, but they all seem to pick up pretty much. He'll have a call with them. And then, yeah, he pretty much just asked like pretty, the typical discovery questions. And then I don't know his exact flow, but then I think the biggest thing is trying to really break down the $97 offer for them because a lot of them, they hear that and they get defensive or they're like, oh, I don't want it. So we kind of worked on like some wording to like help them with that. And some people aren't aligned, and that is like no matter how we explain it in 1,000 different ways, they still aren't aligned. But we try to just mention that up front. And if they are aligned, they're like, yeah, like just get me into homes. Then he'll try to get them on a Zoom call right there and then, or he'll schedule them out for a Zoom call. And if he does schedule them out for a Zoom call, then basically he's gone over this before, but basically some automated text goes out that's like, hey, I'm gonna send you a video from my personal phone, from before the call. So he gets an automatic text with the video script, and every time he records a video and he's just like, hey, like Ron, this is Cameron from the Dutch agent. He sends it from his personal phone to them. And he's like, we're gonna go over these results, blah blah blah, and then that usually helps them with getting people show up for the demo. I feel like he pretty much has he has like a 90% show up on his demos. Like he's just, I don't know what he does. He has some kind of crack in his sales, nurturing. But if you met him, you know exactly what I mean. Um, and then he gets them on the sales call. Now it's very interesting because when I started working with him, it got to a point where he wasn't closing that well on his sales calls, and he kept being like, "Hey, Amon, like, what if we just did the intro for free? Like, we just didn't get them in, or what if we did 250 for the trial?" And because he kept getting people that were turning away, and I was like, "Well, you were closing. You had like a 3 out of 5 when you're doing the high ticket stuff. Like, what do you feel like do you feel like this offer is so good that you're relying too much on the offer and you're not like you're cutting corners in your sales process?" And so he was like, "That's a good point. Like, let me go back and watch all my sales calls to see what I was doing different." And essentially, the biggest learning he took away was he was just spending so much time just showing like the CRM, showing different people's accounts, showing all the numbers. And so he's like, okay, like let me just really spend the time just going through the actual ad accounts, really breaking down, like visually show them the numbers. And I'm just talking about like in go high level, like the opportunities, like really breaking down, showing multiple people. And that seemed to work really well for him. So he really leans into just showing the results. And he's really good with like numbers. And I think he still does the ROI calculator. I wish he was here because he could break all that down a lot better than I can. I'm literally at dinner and I get a text that says we get a new client, and it's just like it feels really good for me. So that's all I care about is that how good I feel when I'm out doing something fun and I get a new client. I'm like, I didn't have to do anything for that. So yeah, I wish I could speak more on that, but he is an absolute genius and I just rely on him for the actual sales part. So far, everything makes sense.
I'm definitely clipping that part. Oh, I'm on. I just love making pretty easy money. I'm just
Yeah, like every time I'm like, I rarely go out anywhere, but every time I do go out somewhere, that's when he decides to close, and that's when I get the notification. I'm just like, yeah, it's a good feeling.
Wh-
Um,
One thing I will say, guys, is so some like for example, Ronnie, he was struggling for a little while, and I told him to lean into the mechanism more. And so I just bring this up because this is a reminder, right? We got Cam, who's a savage, who's a beast, and then he has like a little bit of a dry spell, and it's like, okay, what was the issue? It's not going ham enough during the mechanism phase, guys. It's all about the mechanism. That's what I mean. Again, the training that you guys have, the call, it was all built around some of the stuff I picked up from Joel Kaplan. I thought was pretty good, but I really feel like that's very beginner entry, beginner level friendly. But the truth is that if you really want to sell somebody, so I think his stuff was optimized for, and again, for as well as like, hey, we don't necessarily have results, so everybody has to start somewhere, and so you have to lean more into the motions and look at all these other people. But like, the truth is that you can speak to like one person or not even give any proof, just go really ham on the mechanism, really showing all the numbers and everything, and a business owner will be sold, right? And so that's evidence right there.
Yeah, and I think if I were to do this now, right, with like the med spas, I spent a lot of time on my slides, really making sure they understand the mechanism. I would say Cam does a little bit more on the numbers because we have them, we have the client
Sorry, that's
result.
that's what I meant is like the mechanism, the numbers, like just like no BS. These are the numbers. This is how you know it works, as opposed to like the emotional side of selling.
Yeah, yeah. So when I used to do the sales, I went very heavy on like educating them, and like I would just treat it where if they could do it themselves using the knowledge I gave them, then great. Like that's the way I would approach it. So I would try to really educate them on like why what they weren't doing wasn't working and how to actually make social media like work logically. And they were like always bought in. And I would say like for me, it's just I wasn't really good at like really selling the high ticket part. But I think if I was doing like the 425 and I knew my numbers really well, I could have easily gotten so many more clients. So definitely spent a lot of time on the mechanism, just making them feel like they got something out of this call, rather than just them getting emotional. Um, Now, when he does close them, he sends them like an email that says step one, like take care payment. Step two is they fill out a kickoff form with me. I'm sure all of you guys have a kickoff form at this point. But I say it's pretty much everything that I need to do the A2P stuff. And so it's just like their business, their EIN, their email, like just those sort of things. And then they will get taken to a kickoff or a tech access call with me. So he's like, hey, like Amon's our tech guy, like he's gonna set you up. And then I just have them book a time on the calendar with me. And This call typically takes a while. Like sometimes it could take like over an hour, depending on how complicated their Facebook. If they can't like sign to their Facebook or it's Facebook is giving issues, sometimes it can take a while. So I'm trying to cut my process down on this. What I can find is recently people are willing to watch like content just to get ahead of like this meeting. So I did make a bunch of videos that they can follow to like get ahead. And worst case, they have the time with me anyway. So they'll book a time regardless. Best case scenario, Cam really pushes them to watch the videos. They give me access to everything. They get into the go high level. And it's like great. Like now our call has reduced like to like 10 minutes. But worst case, at least we don't want to rely on them to do all the Facebook stuff on themselves. So I schedule out that call so that worst case I can just spend that time to do that with them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So when they do hop on that meet with me, no. So he'll get them on this meet. Then it's a step 2 out of 3 because they used to take them to a third calendar where they would schedule out the call with Cameron for the onboarding and training. So on that he would go through all the onboarding slides. I don't know if you guys are still doing all the onboarding slides. But he would do all that with them. That would take like 30 minutes or something. Then he would do the training part and go high level where he talks about like, okay, this is like the lead, this is how you call the lead, this is how you move it. I'm sure you guys are all doing that manually. So he used to do all that on a call. It'd probably take like an hour and a half to do all that. We recently built out a course where we just get them in the course and that takes care of all that for them, which I'll go over. So they don't, after this, there's all he does is he gets them in the Slack channel. He says, hey, like I'm on, like he texts me like, hey, I'm on, like this is, Michael, he's in Long Island, like, and then I'll just message him, be like, hey, welcome. He'll call me similar to what Cameron does, where he calls Mason and then he's like Mason like really hypes him up. He basically does the same. He'll put us in a 3-way call on Slack and then I will just be like, oh cool, like where are you from? And then they'll say like, oh, I'm in Long Island. Cool, I'm Eastern time zone too. I'm in Orlando. I'm very excited to get started. Like when we get on a call, we'll just take care of all the access stuff and then we'll get you launched. And they're like, cool, man, like looking forward to it. So that's that second touch point that we kind of model that after Koshik. And and then, yeah, once we do that, then I'll hop on the meet with them on the tech access at the time that they book. I have an automation that sends them the text and the email to the meeting link. And we'll take care of the Facebook stuff. We'll take care of the go high level stuff, like getting them in the go high level. I make sure that their cards are on both the Facebook and the go high level. I also make sure I get all the data or all the things I need to set up their ads. Like, hey, what radius do you want? What is the call out of your area? Like, hey, Austin, Texas, like just those sort of things. And then now I've been getting them into the course as well. So I'll get them into the course, and then basically what I'll do is I'll get them to sign up. Let's see where it's at. So this is directly in Go High Level. Go High Level, you can have modules, which is really cool. So basically I'm like, hey, so essentially there's going to be 2 sections you're looking at. These 2 say mandatory, so mandatory onboarding and then mandatory full training. There's also some sales stuff here as well as some individual trainings here. But essentially the mandatory sections are mandatory for us to launch our ads. And these 2 are both about like 10 minutes each to go through everything. So you'll probably spend like 15-20 minutes to go through all the mandatory sections. This basically goes over how to work with us and maximize your time with us to book as many leads, pretty much the psychology of it all. This is the actual training. This is like what you need to press, how you use the Go High Level to call your leads and maximize the amount of bookings you get from the leads you get. And then once you finish this, just message us. We can track you, so we do get notified when you finish the course material, and then so we don't get launched until these are finished. But also message us just so we know that you went through all this. And then before you go into your first home, you want to watch the sales mastery stuff just so you know exactly what to do when you get into their first home. I thought this wouldn't like work that well. Like I thought we'd have to chase up on many people, but for the most part, like everyone just does it. And then it's like, it's a very weird thing to just get an ads launch and then you see the clients moving the leads and the go high level and you didn't even have to train them. So it's a very like it's a very nice feeling to cut that time, like an hour and a half of your time by doing, everything in a course. So, and you can kind of see like this is, so for the onboarding stuff, it's pretty snappy. They're like 5 minutes.
All right, listen, before we jump into systems, buttons, scripts, and everything Duct Cleaning Partners has, it's not theory, it's because it's proven and it works. We once had a partner who thought that he knew better, right?
So we just like wrote out the script together. We went back and forth. So he had a separate script and then I would just cut like him in the bottom corner. So it was like a Loom video where the actual recording of him was outside of this box and then I would mask it and just put it in the box if needed. But even then I didn't really do that. So we just like, we basically just took our existing onboarding and some other stuff that we want to add, wrote the script for it, and then I just added on my end. And then we have individual things for each one. So we have the 3 pillars here to book as many leads. You see another 5-minute video. And then I would say the actual training video is where we kind of went pretty hard in terms of like the editing on this.
All this step by step so that you book as many leads as humanly possible. I'm talking about getting so many bookings, you guys, that your best technicians love coming to work because you know what to press. If you aren't logged in, please check out the previous video on how to log in. This video, the opportunities page will look like this. We'll go through what all these stages mean shortly, but right now, when you get a new lead, you will find them in either the first stage, opt-in, or the second stage, hot lead. I'll explain the difference.
So yeah, we really like break things down in this video, but once we give it to someone, like they're pretty much good in terms of actually like doing the go high level. And then we also have the individual training. So if they just forget how to do the calendar feature, they can come back here and watch individual videos. Yeah, I took the time to do all the thumbnails and stuff. So we, kind of went all in on this like course thing, but it did pay off. So I am happy about that. Any questions regarding this?
So guys, please ask questions about this, but hopefully you guys are like, what he's showing you is the thing that Aman has cracked with Cam is they have replaced the onboarding with this. That's kind of the key takeaway, right? So people purchase, they set up their tech call with Aman. Aman does the tech stuff. They have access to this course portal. That gives them everything they need. It's kind of like these milestone videos that we talk about, Revere and Estelon. It's like, hey, watch these videos and then we'll launch ads. Watch these videos and then we'll let you go into a house, for example. Like stuff, I'm giving you a different example, but like that's the whole point of this content. Again, course material, I've been shoving it down your guys' throats. Now hopefully you guys can see the power of it through an example. But yeah, please ask questions, guys, if you guys need more clarity on what I'm sharing.
Yeah, and before like we made this like fancy official training video, we used to just send like through Slack, we would just send one of his previous calls with like previous training videos that like of a live call that he had with someone. So like it would literally just be a recording with him and a client. He's teaching that client how to do it. And so as long as you can make it in a way where they have to watch that video before you get launched. So I think what I like about this is I have an automation because it's directly go high level. I have an automation when they start the video and finish the video and I get text. So if they're saying like, oh, like, let's launch this thing. I will literally be like, hey, like, cool, like we can get this launched. We do need to finish these videos in the go high level. So in that sense, it is nice. But like we did send through Slack for a while too. So don't let like this high quality thing stop you from at least getting started on, sending automated content. So yeah, we used to just send like previous content and we would ask them, like Cameron would be like, cool, so we can hop on a call and we could take about like an hour or so to go through it, or I could just send you a video and you could go through it at like 1.5 or 2x speed and you could just watch it. Do you have a preference? And they'll be like, oh, just send me the video, and be like, cool, like please make sure you watch the video in full and then we can get launched. So that was working for him in terms of that.
That's really smart.
And then after they go through this and stuff, once I get the ad set up, I'll send them another Loom video that goes over the ads, the copy, what the offer, because sometimes people will forget and they're like, well, what is the offer, whatever. So I just make sure like, hey, this is the targeting, this is the budget, this is everything, just need your approval. And then I'll send that in Slack. They'll be like, cool, that works for me. And then we'll get launched. And then once that first lead comes in, there's an automation that waits 3 days and then it sends Cameron an automatic text to send a pipeline roast video. Now, a pipeline roast video is essentially like we can give them everything, like we could train them like one-on-one, we could give them the course, but sometimes they still don't follow like what we say to do, which is double dial leads, text your leads, move them in the pipeline, right? So Cameron will make a like a Loom video where he's going through their pipeline and he roasts them, right? So he just
You're doing well, dude. So yeah, this is the pipeline roast. So essentially, I'm going to be going into your pipeline and finding every little micro thing that I can do to improve your booking rate. And on average, in people's first weeks, they should be hitting around the 30 to 35% booking rate. Meaning if 10 leads come in, you should be getting around 3 to 4 of those on the calendar as an average in people's first weeks. So
That's really funny.
So
yeah, he'll literally like listen to their calls like on these videos. Like I don't think you have to do all that, but like he'll like listen and be like, okay, this is how you want to improve it. He'll go through and be like, okay, these should not all be in here. These should all be in manual follow one. He'll like go in and be like, okay, you already tried to reach out to this person, put them in this bracket here. And like I think I went to no wait, Vito. Here, yeah. So it's like, oh, just watched. Really appreciate the pointers. 100% agree with you. I didn't know the manual follow-up or until tonight. So like, it does help them. And that we do come to find that they do a little bit better in terms of that. And I would say like the biggest thing about what we're doing now versus like when I was in the med spas and how I was kind of struggling with that is that Cameron's just so good at being so anal about our way of doing things. Like whenever before client would be like, oh, well, this thing like doesn't work or whatever. So I would try to change up like the funnel or I would try to change up like the process. Whereas he's like, okay, you're not doing these things. Like this is, you need to do these things if you want to hit this number. So he's just so confident in how he talks that it really helps like people just to follow our wording or follow our message.
I think a big thing, just really quick, is if you have ever watched a sales call by Cam, he really focuses on, using words like, hey, this ad works so well because of XYZ reason, and all these other ads don't work, and you have to just, and then the CRM, this is where the secret sauce. So he's not telling you, oh, kind of, sort of, oh, we're gonna figure out that. No,
Mhm.
it's this is the way it is, and we figured it out. And if you don't do it, you're dumb. And then when you get in, he's really, again, keeping, and we talked about this Estalon, for example, is like running a tight ship. The moment somebody steers off or try to do anything, it's like, no, you're silly. You have to do it this way. And here's why. And then eventually people just get indoctrinated, you condition them to just do it your way, right? Of course, your shit has to work, but assuming your shit works, it's really important to do that. And then before you know it, I would assume for you guys, about a month in or so, they just start following direction. Then, they're easy to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's starting at the sales call level, and then you continue it for the first 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then before you know, they fall in line.
100%. I would say that's like one of my biggest weaknesses. I can say stuff like for some people this does, where he's just like every person like this is how we change lives, and so yeah, I would say that's like a very strong suit in it, and it works really well. After that, we send them the pipeline roast, they'll increase their bookings, and then their 7 days is up typically. And then we'll just say like, hey, great job on your first week with us. These are some of your results. Like here, like, would you like to move forward at 521? And they'd be like, yeah, like sends over the link, and then they take care of it. One thing we did do recently is for the second weekers, we found this one gift box site. It's just like a gift box thing or like I think it's this one here. Yeah, so we start sending them these, and we have a little message that we write when we order it, and it's a nice little touch. So we just try to do that to kind of have a positive, like I guess a welcoming experience, since they are paying premium price plus they are covering their own ad spend. So yeah, so we just try to throw that in with them. And then even Aiden was telling me like the last time I talked to him, he's like that really helped our clients, and that was kind of a push for me to be like, okay, let me act on this. So yeah, we send them that, and then typically it's just like just getting there, keeping the leads flowing. We have a weekly coaching. So let's see. Did I ever send you any of the weekly coaching, Kushik?
I've never seen Cam and you in action coaching your
Oh
kiddo.
man.
I would love to see Daddy Cam.
Yeah, I feel like this is a full circle moment, you know. So this was funny because our coaching calls will typically get like 2 to 3 people and it'll be a pretty short call. Sometimes we'll hit it big and we'll get like 6 people on and it feels really good. We had this new client who has like 15 technicians and he's just like, hey, when's your coaching call? And it's like, oh, it's at 6 p.m. He sent like 15 guys over and they're all just asking Cam all these questions. And he's like opening their mind to like this new way of selling, like, and they're just like, and he didn't get the recording of the last one, but there was like 25 people on that one because his loom isn't working. And he had like 25 people and like someone would ask a question and then someone else would stop camera and be like, hey, like let me answer this one. And he'd be like, what Cam always says is this. And Cam's just like, what is going on right now? Like this is so he's really enjoying the coaching, but I'll just kind of show you.
Is the most important for us. Yes, the best thing you can do as a salesman in this situation is to become their friend as fast as possible. Not in a fake way, but genuinely try to be likable, like have a good time. If you show up to the home and you're feeling like your face is flat and you're depressed and your tone's really low, it's going to be really hard for them to feel like you know what you're talking about and you like your job, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about there, is just really try to, and when I'm talking about get them to ask you if you want to enter their home, that's just a sign that you did a really good job, that they feel comfortable enough with you to invite you into their house instead of you asking if you can come to their house. Does that make sense? Do you kind of understand the difference? If they don't ask you to come into their house, then it's time for you to be like, all right, well, now it's just awkward silence. I told you who I am, but so can I please come in? We got to do the duct cleaning. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying though, if you do a good job of presenting yourself, ideally a good sign that you did a really good job and they like.
Yeah, I mean, even I'm watching this like yeah, that's a good point.
Do you guys require the coaching calls or you guys do not require the coaching calls? Like, for example, one of the things we were starting to implement is telling people on the onboarding, hey, we need you to come to coaching calls. Every time you don't show up to coaching call and every time you don't do a check-in, there's a fee.
No, we haven't made it required. I think we've talked about making it required. Like, okay, it's required the first time to get launched, and then it's required a second time before you jump into your first sales call. But we haven't really acted on it. But it's something that we talked about, like making it mandatory. There are instances where a client maybe is struggling that week and they're like, hey, like, I don't know if I can pay the service fee this week. Like, I don't know if I can do this any longer because just the numbers aren't adding up. So we'll be like, okay, like you're getting all these leads, you should be making a lot more. What we'll do is we'll offer them like a maintenance week where they can we'll like cut their service fee for like a few weeks, like say 2 weeks. And we're like, they're like the only thing that if you want us to honor this deal is that you have to show up to the coaching calls. If you don't show up, then the offer's off the table. And they're like, yeah. So we did that like once and it worked really well. So I would say the new people, because we have it like in the course that goes over the coaching calls, like the new people who are coming in just naturally want to be on the coaching calls. So they've been like all the new people hop on, but I do want to figure out the right like way to like make sure that they hop on. But yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, Cameron's been enjoying this, especially lately since more people are hopping on and they really are just like mind blown from it. There was a really cool one. Where is it? Mike. Here. Oh yeah, he said, Cam, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. My wife and I watch her call. We've also noticed a lot of people when they get into the Slack, they'll start watching the previous coaching calls. Like we're like, we didn't know that was a thing, but they'll be like, oh yeah, like on your last coaching call, you like mentioned that. So that's a cool thing. But it was my wife and I watched her call with Valentina Mateo yesterday. One part on the call really stood out. I sent a text to my guys and called a meeting this morning. We talked about not selling and have a different mindset of trying to turn the 97 into $1,000 job, just finding and relating excruciating detail and problem solutions of the inspection, changing from a point of you have to get this done to this would be benefit your situation and I can do it for you. First job 863 and the second job 1500 right after that. Everyone in the system should watch that. 5 minutes and 100x good stuff. And so we like clip that part. Where's the membership? So we like clip that part.
So in a second, I'm going to show you a part of a coaching call that has allowed Michael to completely fit your situation, and I can do it for you.
And then we cut to that part in the thing. So, hopefully they can just watch that as like a first intro to like, okay. And then hopefully that alone. But then there's also 2 other videos that they can watch too.
Very cool. Very cool.
Any questions so far? This is interesting.
Fellas, you guys have questions before we continue?
This is great. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you guys just have a well-oiled machine that you just feed into it. But it's crazy seeing where you guys, because I've known you and Cam for a while, so seeing what you guys have done with it, is crazy. But I don't know. Questions. I don't know. I guess what would you say out of all the course material is probably the most important for somebody to watch?
Probably the training video. I don't know like how effective the onboarding is. We haven't had any like one say anything, but we do feel like like people are acting like normal clients when they do go through it, so that is nice. Um, so but I would say that just the training, like being you have that opportunity in that video to be so confident in what you say, to say, hey, if you don't do this, like it's not going to work, like you must double dial. So if you don't feel that type of confidence when you're on the call with them, you could probably get a recording of you just being that confident and just at least having a place where you can just show it over and over and let it do it for you. So I would say that's to me the biggest one, because they can always like they're always like updating their leads after, like sometimes they don't and we'll have to send the pipeline rows to them, but it has been very helpful. So I would say that would be a very important one. I would say my favorite one to send. It's the most satisfying one to send to them because you can tangibly see the results of it. Whereas like the onboarding, they may be communicating with you better, but you don't really know if that's from like the onboarding or not. But like the pipeline or the go high level training is like a direct, you can really tangibly see that.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
When it comes to the service delivery, when it came to Cam and he closed his first deal, he was kind of freaking out. And I was like, you just go funnel hack. And he funnel hacked and he found something. Are you guys still running the same thing? Is it an instant form? Is it a messenger ad? Is it have you guys changed up your service delivery in terms of what you guys are?
No, it's like whatever ad he found, like that one is still like one of the best performing. I did create like a video that I saw from funnel hacking other ones. That one's also crushing, but it's like the $97 offer, instant form. One of the big things I did want to like kind of pick your brain on was the whole CPO campaign, because like we do find that like some clients they just like stall. Like we like a lot of our Florida clients are not hitting where we want it to be, and so but like we have clients everywhere else, it's almost like they start at $5 a lead. It's like kind of crazy. But we have like some clients in Florida where they're like $20 a lead, maybe even $30 a lead. And we're trying to figure out how to like my biggest struggle right now is how do I test new creatives, get new creatives in, but then not mess up the data. I think that part is a little bit hard in terms of like how do I keep making changes to it? Like, is it just keep duplicating it, or do I need to like I've tried the whole like put 15 ads in a campaign, and I don't know. I just don't know if that like works for me as well as like, you know, when I used to just like tweak things little by little and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so Aiden's the one that really pioneered this and nobody knows why the hell it works. But all it is this. So if I share my screen, I mean, it's literally campaign. Within that campaign, you have ads, campaign, CBO, and then correct me if I'm mistaken, Aiden, but ad set one, and then add one, add one, add one, and you can do three or four, and you literally just take this, and it's gonna sound crazy, and we don't know why it works. That's
What?
that's literally it, and then you repeat it again, and the CBO does its magic and it'll find it. So if you, for example, and then again, correct me if I'm mistaken, but like what Aiden will do is he'll just come in here or just throw in more ads. If he wants to test out more things. He doesn't even have like a separate testing campaign. Um, but this is it. And that allows
Wow.
him to scale much. No one
So
knows.
when you say add one, it's literally like if I have a blue ad with text, primary
Same
text,
one.
just same one.
Same
And
exact ad.
does that ad have different primary text and
Nope.
headlines and stuff?
No.
Everything
And
is
then
exactly the same, bro.
I had a question for the CCBO campaign. This is my first time talking, but I see there's kind of like a total of like 9 ads. Are they like kind of like all the same ads, or are they all kind of like different?
They're
So
all exactly the same ad. Exactly the
Oh,
same ad.
wow.
that's so crazy.
You do have to test initially what works best. So like the only reason that I'm able to do this now with my clients is because we already know what works. But as soon as you have that winning ad, like yeah, and what I'm doing with a lot of my clients right now is, there's ad set one and ad set two. Well, if you happen to know two ad sets or like two different targeting audiences that work really well, you basically just do this same thing with both of those different ad sets on at the same time. So like I have one right now where it has two ad sets targeting people that are interested in home, and then two ad sets that are targeting lookalike audiences. And they have been running for months and months and months, and we are now just starting to have to touch them because they're starting to fatigue, but they
Wow.
didn't fatigue. And this is spending hundreds of dollars a day, by the way. Like the it's just now starting to fatigue like several months later. Um,
and so it
yeah,
looks like it looks like this: ad set one targeting one, ad set two targeting one, ad
yep.
set three targeting two,
And
and
what I'll do with this is like I will, depending on how much budget you have, I might do like two or three or four different copies of each ad set, honestly. And then these ad sets are the ones that are the winners, the ones that are just left over. Um,
And if
and
you like
yeah,
test new ads, like are you just throwing into one of these ad sets without having a separate testing?
yeah.
And
Sometimes
let's
I
say,
will, sometimes I will start fresh with like I'll turn all the ad sets off and do this same thing within like the same ad set with some new ads sprinkled in there. I'll do like two or three of the new ad and two or three of the old winning ad.
okay, because like I feel like whenever I set a client up, there's two ads that I run. One is a video, one is an image, and it'll actually like go through each one like pretty evenly. What do you think it would be crazy if I did like ad set one, those two ads, ad set two, those two ads, kind of thing, or do you think I should just like literally follow? Because at least with some clients, I've already kind of like exhausted, or at least I feel like I've exhausted some of those creatives. So I want to test new things for them. So I don't know if I should just try, maybe I could just try imitating this first, test it for like a week, and then, you
so
know,
so something like that. Is that what it'd look
yeah,
like?
something like that. I mean, of course, I should imitate first before I iterate, but um,
My only thing with that is I would just make sure to have at least two copies of each ad in there. So there's ad one,
okay,
video, like there
that's
needs
so
to be at
crazy.
least it's stupid is what it is. It's fucking retarded, bro. But for some
That's
reason, it's just
really
how
crazy.
it works. And you
Oh, I'll
will,
try it. I'll let you know it.
So
every
like
time, dude, every time you will find some ad in there that gets a ridiculous cost per lead and that continues to produce a ridiculous cost per lead.
so
Wow.
this is what you're saying in terms of the setup. Ad set one, both of the ads in there, a duplicate of them, and then just cloning this two more
Honestly, I
couple.
may just try imitating first and then see how well that does. And if it revives it, then great. But if not, then at least I can try,
Do you
and then
have do you have a testing campaign where you do the traffic campaign like I was saying earlier, or do you not do that?
some like there's one client that I've done it for where I did testing like like let me show you one of our clients how messy this is. So if I go to so my thing is I start with like an ad set, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, I want to test different ads. So I do a whole new ad set. And then I'm like, okay, I want to test different ads. I want to do a whole new ad set. I end up with having like four different ad sets. Mind you, this is AVO. So it's all at the ad set level. The client just had budget for all this. And then like you'll see that some days, like this one crushes, and then another day it'll be like a different ad set that crushes. So like these two crushed, but then like some days it'll be like this one that gets all the leads, or this one gets all the leads. And so this not structured, but like I also feel like anytime I throw ads in an existing winning campaign, like it doesn't test it properly, or I'll start with testing it, it'll find a winner, but then I'm like, if I stop this one and throw the winning one into the winning campaign, then Facebook's still gonna put the money towards the other one, or sometimes it doesn't perform as well. So that's why I was really curious about that CBO campaign. And I feel like that's kind of doing what this is doing, except it's not at the ad set level. You're doing it at the campaign level, and you're letting the campaign dictate which ad set to pour. Because if this one's crushing today, might as well put all the ad budget into just this one for that day or something.
Are you saying so if you test out a new ad, you don't want to put that ad into an existing ad set or existing campaign?
Into existing ad set.
Okay, okay.
Because I feel like Facebook doesn't like. I mean, sometimes clients I will. It's very unstructured. Like some clients, I'll try doing multiple ads and then ad sets. Some clients, I'll just separate the ad sets and test different things. But it can get really messy. But I do like. So from what I'm hearing, Aiden, is if I have these four ad sets, they have one ad, and if you want to test more, you may just pick one ad set and throw a few more creatives in there, or do you throw in a few more creatives for all of them? So it's even.
I would throw in some new creative in all of them.
Okay, interesting.
And yeah, again, just make sure you've got duplicates, like at least minimum two of each ad, minimum.
Okay, I'll keep you updated on how that goes. I'm very interested because there's one ad account that's being very stubborn right now, and um it used to do really well, and so I'm really curious if like today, like this one, this used to get like $5 leads, and it's been getting $70 leads. Yesterday got five, but it's still at like 20. Whereas like
Oh, dude, it's in San Diego. That's why, man. San Diego is cursed, just like Miami, bro. Something about
yeah, but San Diego used to get like $5 leads. Like it used to. Maybe I'll go back to it, but I don't know. Have you tried your CBO method in Miami?
not in Miami, no, but
It
we've
has
done
to
it
work.
in
Yeah,
everywhere, like
and it
so
works.
many other places.
I'm excited to test it.
That's funny. I used to run window and door ads, and I tried San Diego, and yeah, it was so weird. It worked everywhere else but there.
Yeah, I know
Same
Miami.
here. Same here.
I've tested many things in Miami. Even Drew said he's like, yeah, we can never figure out Miami, but I didn't know San Diego was another curse one. It worked before, but stopped to work.
Well, that's us too. We were getting crazy leads before and then nothing. But
Well,
I guess
at least that's validating to hear. I thought I just sucked. Even
same. I
Florida,
know.
I don't know if you've experienced, but like if I'm getting like $5 leads anywhere else in the country, Florida, I'm getting like 16 to 25, like across the board, no matter where we are in Florida.
I have gotten some pretty good results in certain parts of Florida, but Miami just I have never been
Maybe
able to get
sucks.
Miami to work.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but I think as far as everything, that's pretty much our system.
Something I will say is like let's say you have some ads in ad set that are fatiguing, and this ad set was doing really well. What I will do, I don't know what you said about this or what you think about this, but I'll take, yeah, a new ad that I want to test. Usually it's just a new creative. Sometimes it is a new headline or a copy, but whatever it is, I'll just try it in that original ad set that was working. And usually we're able to get some more life out of that ad set before we have to create some new ones and copy and paste again.
Will you duplicate it or will you just put in the existing?
Uh, Duplicate the ad set or duplicate the ads?
Duplicate the ad set. Well, I guess you
Yeah.
went CBO, so duplicate the campaign.
No, not duplicate the campaign. I do. You would eventually the ads, even like the new ads that you're testing, might start to fatigue, or they just might not do anything, which is why you need multiple copies to like really know for sure of that ad in the same ad set. But then I would duplicate that winning ad set at least 2 or 3 times.
Okay, and for all the ones you're doing the CBO for, are you doing $100 or more? Or can you do it like low as 50?
Dude, I'm doing it as low as $10 a day.
That's crazy. Let's go. Are you doing
Yeah.
it for yourself too, as far as like your own ads?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm getting like $15 um survey leads, like business owner leads, and then like $20, maybe $25 a booked call from that. But it cost per lead, it stays pretty low for a while.
Hmm. You know, Koshik was telling me about the like, oh, we're doing some cool CBO stuff. So I was like looking into the CBO stuff. I'm like, okay, I think I got a general idea of what they're doing. Like these have different. Now this is gold. This is very
I've tried it too. I'm on it. Works. Yeah, Aiden put me on that shit. I've been
damn,
hijacked. My mind's been hijacked with the
damn.
CBO.
Let's go.
Yeah, I have never gotten go to work for me until I tried this, and it worked for me too. Every single one of us that have done it, it's worked for.
Okay, I'll update you guys soon on how it does for me. I'm also
Um,
testing San Diego, so don't take my word if it doesn't go well. So
well, you got to throw that variable out of it. That wouldn't be a
yeah,
fair pass.
yeah,
But
Hey, good question, man.
yeah.
Since you guys went like all in on the course, are you guys also doing like, are you guys coaching them on how to run their own ads and how to like track their numbers and stuff like that or no?
That's a good question. We're not doing that. It's fully done for you. So we're fully managing the ad side of things. Their only responsibility is just nurturing the leads and updating the go high level. And when they update the go high level, their numbers will be in place if they update it properly. And so, yeah, so we're fully managing. There, for the most part, most clients don't really know what's going on the ad side, even though it's their Facebook account. Some will, like some will actually check their ad account and be like, "Hey, can we bring this cost per lead down?" But for the most part, it's fully done for you. So we'll do it. And I didn't even mention this, so thanks for mentioning the numbers. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, what I'll do is I will have each of our clients in a tab here, and I will just have the dates here. I'll literally paste it, put in their current day for the last 7 days, and then I'll just continue to go through these. And if I make changes, then I'll put what changes I made so Cameron can see it. So I do this, right? So it does well. Went up here. I said duplicated. It's doing really well here. I'll put comments here if it's not changes, but it's just comments, right? And then here, like we hit a high mark, I duplicated, added a montage video, took out lowest performing ads. We saw it went well, made these changes. So I'll do that for literally all the clients. And then I'll send Cameron like a Loom video that's like, hey, this is the ad report. And he'll go through, he'll comment it. So that's how me and him stay on the same page and kind of know the numbers and always have a pulse on things.
that's the one. Just really quick, because I think I know why you're asking that question, but the thing is, with Aman and Cam, they have two people and they're both really talented and very skilled. And so they can divide the workload and look at how much work Aman is doing. Like he's not just like setting up the ads and tweaking up the ads. He's doing all this stuff, all this reporting, all this stuff. Imagine if one person were to do both of those. It's damn near impossible. And so that's why I told like Riviera, for example, like, hey man, again, there's marketing, there's sales, there's customer, there's the product. And so he's not able to put as much time and energy into like the relations part because he's managing the ads and doing all those things. So if you're solo dolo, it's all you coaching and get them to set up their own ads and all that stuff, it might make more sense. It usually does versus like what they're doing because they have two roles. They can do a lot both each. And so they can keep it the way that they're doing, which is the same way Gym Launch does it, where they're setting up the ads, gaining the leads, all the stuff, and they're just doing like the coaching, basically whatever and Cam are doing. So it's just their business model allows them to do it this way versus somebody like Riviera or you, it's going to take a lot more off your plate if you can sell people on setting up their own ads, doing their own thing, assuming you can retain them. And again, that's going to be because you sell high ticket up front and or your coaching is so good and people believe that they need to continue to stay with you and they can't just like run off.
Yeah. I was also curious about like since they're gonna be more so like blue collar or
Yeah.
if if they were gonna be even remotely they're like, oh no, we don't touch anything Facebook or anything ads related. So I was curious about that too. If it was like, the different avatar of clients, like photographers, they might want to learn it, videographers might want to learn it because they're
Yeah.
digital space versus someone doing like duct cleaning, they might like, ah, no, we don't want to touch that.
Definitely, like
Yeah.
I feel like certain niches are more like that, but I'll let Alman talk to it. But like in my opinion, there are very few niches that cannot be bothered with it, and those are going to be like your dentists that are extremely busy. A dentist, a plastic surgeon, like those people, a lawyer, those people just you cannot bother those people with this kind of stuff. They want the done for you. But most people, even duct cleaning, I'm sure if you can get them to watch some course material, you can get them to tweak up their own ads if they wanted to.
Cool.
Yeah. Aman, what else do you guys have up your sleeves that you guys wanted to share?
Um, well, I wish I knew the CBO thing earlier because tomorrow I have a local client here, our Orlando client, and I'm gonna go and just shoot a bunch of content with him. I think it's still good to have, because I always hate like taking other people's ads and like editing those. Like I like having my own stuff. And so at least I think that can help like differentiate us or like show like we have a or like a catalog of ads. But my biggest thing is just testing different ad types lately. But um, yeah, so I'm gonna be going and we're gonna be shooting a bunch of different hooks. Like he's great on camera, so it'll be nice to have a database of just a bunch of winning ads that we've made in house. But I think I would have liked to just test the CBO thing first and before I went out there. But whatever, it's iPhone shoot, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Um, One thing again, I do want to turn back to Aman, but I don't want to forget saying this. But like, Aman, he talked about trying a bunch of different things, right? He did this niche, he tried this, he tried that. And that's like the journey that a lot of people experience at the very beginning until something cracks. Even Cam, he hopped in and we got things cracking, but still he had certain things where, he didn't feel good and he wanted to quit. And so there's just a lot of stars that have to align perfectly to crack something. I
yeah.
don't know that Cam would be here and if he and Amon didn't find each other. I really don't. I think that Cam maybe would have burnt out. I don't think they would have gotten as far. I think Amon would have burnt out himself. So it's just a lot of things that have to align perfectly. That's the first point I want to make. So if you guys are on a journey like Estelon and some of you guys where you're like just trying to navigate the space, you'll get there. It just has to fit. It's like finding that girl, man. Like you got to find the one that shares your mission, values, all that stuff. There's a glove that fits, guys. There's a glove that fits. The other thing that I do want to go over though is how like um Drew was talking about like the four things that he needs to check. $3,500 price point, cost per lead around 20 bucks, 40,000 population. They can sell. One thing that I'm noticing with every single niche, the ones that crack it, is your service delivery has to be dialed in. In other words, you have to be able to make people quite a bit of profit. So if we look at all those different niches that Drew went over, the 4 or 5, every single one, again, he's putting a bunch of time and energy into like cracking it and making sure it's profitable first. If you don't have that piece, it'll never work. It'll never work. It is impossible to work. The only way that's going to work is you hop on some sales call, you sell somebody a $5,000, $10,000 thing, and then you scam them and your business dies sooner or later because enough word gets around. That's the only way to do that kind of business. It is a mandatory requirement for you to be able to get people results. And then the other part of it is then at that point, then you figure out client acquisition, right? And so I bring this up because, I'm looking at things like the portrait photography stuff. I'm looking at some of that stuff. It's just like that shit's broken. It's just not going to work. It's just no matter how hard you try. If you look at Aman, if you look at Cam, if you look at um, Drew, and then Tony had to head out. He does divorce lawyers. Every single one of these people, all four of these people are are generating a tremendous amount of ROI for their clients. That's the first part. That is the fucking fundamental part of the cake. The icing on the cake is client acquisition. And again, even if I look at you, somebody like you, Aslan, you want to do dentist, it's easy to get them results. Can you literally drive around from city to city and fucking fire people? Yeah, maybe that's a client acquisition method that hasn't been cracked. But you need the fucking cake. You need the base of the cake. In my you need to be able to get people great results. And so this is a little bit more of an advanced thing I'm saying to people at the very beginning stage when somebody just hops in, they've never set up ads, they never set up funnels. I just want to get them up and running, doing something, right? But once you're at a more of an advanced stage, like Aslan, or I'm sorry, like Cameron, if you want to get to this level, not get advanced, if you want to ever get to their stage, your shit has to be down. You have to be able to generate profit for people. If you don't, it will never work. So I just want to point that out really quick for you guys. So either you guys, that's why I was so adamant when it came to Riviera. I was like every single fucking week, hey, crack the fucking albums, crack the albums, crack the albums. If you don't, your shit's gonna die sooner or later. And you guys have seen what's happened, right? So I just want to bring that up really quick. If you guys are in a place where, again, I know we're looking at Cam and Aman and Drew and Tony, and we're saying, hey, how do I get there? You know, floating around doing these different niches, sub niches, different ideas. Now you're in a place I feel like everybody here has been here for at least months. It's like, okay, profit first. What can I generate a tremendous amount of profit first? Everything else will fall into place sooner or later. So I just want to kind of share that really quick. But yeah, Aman, other things that you want
to add on that, I feel like from what I've seen from being in med spa, painting, and now duct cleaning, is one, it's pretty much easy to get leads in any niche, as you can see with Drew. He pretty much can literally pick any niche and get leads. So I feel like getting leads on Facebook in a decent niche, like obviously it shouldn't be something so weird or rare, but like if you choose like a known niche, you can probably generate leads somehow or another on Facebook. So generating leads is pretty easy, in my opinion. I would say the biggest thing is just knowing how to coach the client, like making sure that they don't gaslight you into saying this thing doesn't work if they're not calling their leads, if they're not following up to the leads. And I would say if you're doing something like low ticket to high ticket, you're probably gonna have to do more coaching on the back end, which can be a little bit harder if you don't have the in-person experience, right? So like for the med spas, there was a whole sales part that I didn't really understand because I don't understand the services that well or anything. But like for house painters, if you just get them leads and really coach them on to double down on their leads, moving their pipeline, they can figure it out when they go in because it's already a high ticket. And so I would say if you're doing something where it's not like the 97 to like a 2000, but it's something where the average ticket is that 3000 or is a little bit higher ticket, like house painting or something. I would say just really dial in the coaching aspect of like, it's pretty much the same for everyone. Like call it as soon as the lead comes in, double dial plus text them, move their lead in the pipeline, and then hold them accountable to it. So if you see that they're not updating, you need to like send them a Loom video that's saying, hey, you need to update these things. And then that way you don't have to do so much on the back end. Like for Daniel, it makes sense for you because you do have the industry experience, so you can probably crack that low ticket to high ticket because you're doing it for your girlfriend, I believe. And so in that sense, it makes sense. For Cameron, it makes sense. But yeah, I would say getting the leads part is easy, but you really have to dial in that coaching aspect. I mean, that's why everyone in Coach Shake's course does so well, is because his coaching is so spot on, that like we don't, again, we can get our leads all day, but it's his ability to coach us. So I would say that's like a really big aspect of it.
To go a little bit further into this, guys, is when it comes to coaching, guys, there's two parts of coaching, okay? And this is where the niche matters, guys. There's coaching in terms of fold your fucking clothes, do your damn laundry, and that's move the leads around, do the double dial. Just fucking do your damn laundry, make your fucking bed. And that shit's not that hard to do, okay? Then there's the coaching of your sales process. And every niche is a little bit different. This is where niches matter. If you do something like duct cleaning, okay, move your leads, do this. This is everybody should be fucking good at this. If you're not good at this, you deserve timeout. Seriously, okay? But when it comes to having to coach them in terms of selling high ticket, not taking anything away from Cam or Amin, and I think this is part of why it works so well for them, is yes, Cam has a background in being a technician, but it's probably not like rocket science to get people inside of a house and like do some upsells. It's probably not rocket science. And you can see that by the amount of course material that they have. Versus if I want to teach a videographer, a wedding videographer, how to like do the discovery call, how to do the sales call, how to do all this shit, there's a lot of fucking training there. If I want to help somebody who's never built an agency and like do the discovery call, the sales call, onboarding, there's a lot of shit I have to train people on. That's why this shit's fucking hard. So what I will say is that if you have these more contractor types of niches, like, duct cleaning, painting, whatever, this part's fucking, you better fucking get good at this. This is not that hard to do. But then this part of like training a painter, a house painter on how to like sell, it's not that fucking hard. So it depends on the niche. So that's why something like portrait photography is hard because one thing is getting them to move leads around this and that again. Nobody has an excuse for that. But then how do you get the portrait photography to do the right thing on the discovery call, the sales call, all that shit to upsell? You have to have like wisdom, experience in that niche yourself. Like honestly, you do if you're doing a hard thing, right? So I hope that makes sense. There's two parts of it. There's coaching, getting them to do the bed, make the bed, and then there's coaching on like your sales process. And the cinema marketing, it's hard as fuck to help people sell. There's a lot to teach. So just understand that when you pick your niches out.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I had to step away from camera and do my own thing,
Like Aman, just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like Aman, okay, moving the med spa leads around, doing this, okay, cool. But then how do you take these offers, upsell people and all this stuff? And again, this is the part that Aman struggled a little bit with because he didn't have the industry experience to be the world-class coach in that particular niche. So there's a prime example of that. And that's really hard, taking a $37 thing or a $97 Botox thing and then doing all the training, get them to do the upsell. That's fucking hard it's hard to coach people on. So anyway, sorry about that one.
yeah. So like if I did have to go on my own and like do my own business, I would probably do something like the house painting where it's not, it's kind of like the free funnel or the free video funnel where it's like something on the front end, but on the back end, something different. You have to like have that in-person experience. And so if I wouldn't go back to like med spas or anything, or probably low ticket to high ticket, unless I already had that in-person experience, I would probably just do something where it's like painting or concrete where all I have to do is the lead nurturing, like really train them on that. And then if they go into a home and give a quote for concrete, like they're bound to sell something, in my opinion. Whereas like I do think for the duct cleaner, it's still like a game of like how you talk to them on the phone to really explain the $97 offer and then seamlessly transition that to a back end. Like Cam can teach that because he understands what all the like he even saw he was talking about like how like you have to get them to let you in the home, whereas like I don't know, I feel like for house painting I was able to get my clients out there having no experience. Like I had no experience in this, but they were still able to go and sell. So like yeah, I would say that's kind of from my experience. If you do have the in-person experience, if like Jorge does the jujitsu, so he probably have like more complicated back end. But I really like the whole concrete thing too. It's probably harder to get leads, but hey, with that CVO thing, that part's cracked. Um, so yeah.
But hopefully that all makes sense, guys. You gotta figure out where your strengths are, right? Are you gonna be a good coach? Do you have industry experience? All these things like matter. So anyways, Aman, any other golden nuggets or things that you want to chop it up about, man?
I know you asked about the whole pixel thing, so I can show you how
Yeah,
I did that.
yeah.
So basically, when I was running this, there's the opt-in page, which that has a trigger that says view content. And then when you go on this page, right? So you opt into that first form. What would you expect the code on this page to be?
Lead.
Right. So actually there's no code on here. So I basically have it blank, right? And then what I do is in Go High Level, I have an automation where if they opted in, right? There was a question on there that had 3 questions, right? 2 of them made them qualified, 1 of them didn't make them qualified. So if they came in here and then it was like if they're qualified, then they're Go High Level has this thing called meta conversion KPI. and you have to get the access token. You have to get the data ad set from the data ID from the pixel. You add these things in. It's a funnel event. It's integration. So you have to do an integration process on the back end with the pixel to connect it to go high level. And then here is where I did lead. So this is where the lead gets sent back, and now it's considered lead. But if it's not, if they aren't a qualified lead because they answered I'm researching, they go through the same process except I don't include the conversion API. So that's the only difference. So instead of the code doing it and counting everyone who lands on that page as a lead, I only have it where if they answer a certain question, then I have this actual thing here that sends the data back to the pixel saying, okay, this is the lead now.
That is genius. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've only started doing it for my clients, like the new clients. So I'll see if they're like their thing does better. But at least for, you, if you want to like, you know, do that. Oh,
Yeah.
also if you do, like, let's say they count as a lead, you book them and you schedule them for a demo. Now, if I do demo case, let me see. I basically have an automation in here somewhere that sends the data back that it's scheduled, and then if they closed, then I have an automation that gets sent to the pixel for purchase. So that way you can get even better data. And then now it's like if you get 10 new clients, then all of them get that pixel sent or that data sent back to the pixel. And now you have like a better pixel. So there's that aspect. I want to see if I can find close. Okay, so close conversion KPI. I have it if they basically he always puts 421 if it closes. And then I basically have to send back and I have the value as 521 and then I select purchase here. So then that way we can see who purchased as well.
Sweet. Heck yeah. For
So-
anybody that's wondering, sorry, Aiden, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but just really quick, on and within their funnel, they have an opt-in page and they have like three things. Hey, are you a new business owner? Are you a business owner established, whatever? And so they don't want everybody that goes to the next page to trigger the pixel and make it because they want to make sure their pixel is as smart as possible with good data. So they only give the data to the Facebook pixel if they are qualified. That's all that Aman is trying to share here.
The way that conversion API works, this is super nerdy, but it's so freaking awesome. The pixel is on the browser side. There's two sides of the internet. There's the browser side and the server side. And in order to basically the pixel lives in the browser side, and you can block that. You can block the pixel. In fact, it's like estimated the pixel only gets anywhere from 40 to 60% of data. It can miss a lot of stuff. But conversion API, this lives on the server side of things, which you cannot block this kind of tracking. And so if you have any device that connects to a website, they have to connect to that server side, even with ad blockers. And this is the best form of data tracking out there. After it was iOS 14 or whatever update, this is what saved people's butts. This is huge.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So super nerdy stuff for not stuff you guys have to necessarily look into right now, but maybe down the road if you guys can revisit this lesson. But yeah, Aman, anything else that you wanted to share, go over? I think you covered most of it.
Yeah, I wish Cam could have been here to see more
Yeah.
stuff. I think you guys will really liked his energy. He's
We
been
might
great. I feel like him just as a person he's like a golden retriever, so it's a lot of fun working with him. So
maybe I'll snip out that part of the golden retriever and be like, hey, he called you a golden retriever.
yeah, yeah. Step out this part. He's a bitch.
No, but we might if you guys enjoy this, Tony had to bounce, guys, and so he's hopping on. He wanted to hop on next week. So if Cam's available and you guys wanted to hop on again next week, you guys are welcome to do that. This way we can bring Cam in and Tony in.
Sounds good. How's
Yeah.
how's that low ticket stuff? I've been seeing a little bit of the low ticket funnel, not the low ticket stuff. That seems pretty exciting.
Yeah. I've been talking to years, Aman, about like how do I sell high ticket without like sales calls, and I think I finally cracked it. Um, let me
Does
share.
it perform like better than the call funnel? Like, not that I'm like looking to switch. I'm just like, it's actually really cool that.
So I literally just created like a Google Doc on this, on how this funnel works. Um but basically, so when it comes to the low ticket funnel, so um I had obviously we had the 7 days video marketer, and then after that, cost per purchase was like $50, and then eventually dropped to like $200 and then $400. And then what I did is I built out another low ticket funnel. So you have video marketers, and so we have the 7 days video marketer, and then I create another course called like meta ads for filmmakers. And then we had photographers, and then I created another low ticket course for that, infinite leads. And then we had Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu business owners, and then we had a low ticket course for that. So all of these worked.
Wow.
Every single one of these worked.
What are you teaching in the low ticket funnel? Like, is it just how to generate your own leads?
So this is kind of the psychology of it, okay? So basically what you do is you have top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. The top of the funnel, you're basically swapping out the low ticket product. So what you do is you basically think about your avatar and you think about all the problems that they have. So a video marketer, hey, how do I get leads forever? Hey, how do I make Facebook ads work? I know Facebook ads work. I just don't know how to make them work. Hey, how do I sell high ticket? I talk to all these business owners, but they keep saying, hey, how am I going to make it hard? So each of these are a different pain point. So if you think about your duct cleaners have like 5 or 7 like key problems. So each of those key problems is basically this low ticket product. So you just swap it out. So this is like 7 days video marketer. This is like meta for filmmakers. This is high ticket sales for filmmakers, whatever. And then the mid ticket is just the bridge. So it's like, hey, you learn how to run ads, but you don't know how to do sales. Or hey, I taught you how to do sales, but if you can't get leads, so that's why you need the mid ticket product always. Okay. And the whole purpose of this is just a liquid ad spend. So basically, I'm spending $120 to make a $160 sale on average. So you're basically profit on the front end. All you're doing is you create all these low ticket funnels. This is like Maria Wendet, same shit as me. You just create all these low ticket funnels and all these fill your top of funnel. Okay, so now this is super important. You cannot do lead ads, you cannot do instant form ads, you cannot do follower ads, you cannot do DM ads because those people have low intent. You need purchasers to fill up top of funnel. Once you fill up top of funnel, this is where course material comes in. Like me, for example, every single, I don't know that every person here, but what I would do is I would get people inside the low ticket course and then I shoot them a DM and get them to watch a Loom video, get them to watch course material, say, hey, I'm not hopping on a sales call with you until you do this. And so you use course material. And then here's what I figure out for social media content is you can you can segment out, you can use video view ads and a different type of campaign, but basically you have top of funnel, you have middle of funnel, and then you have bottom of funnel. And there's different content that goes out to middle of funnel versus bottom of funnel. Middle of funnel is like testimonial types of video. Bottom of funnel is like answers to a question of your coaching program.
Right.
And so that's all middle funnel. This is consumption, right? You use course material, you use this to get people in because it's high intent. These are purchasers. Everything here is just content, whether you want to use retargeting
is what you're doing, or
so basically you use retargeting and use course material. Okay. And when it comes to retargeting video views, I mean, you're talking about spending like literally $2 a day to hit your entire, because this audience is so small, this can be like literally $2 a day. And then your bottom of funnel is you either do things my way, which is you do a sales call, or you do a Google Doc. And the way that Google Doc works is so either if you're open to doing sales calls forever, if you are open to doing sales calls, you just make your program indefinitely like open. If you want to do no sales call, what you have to do is you have to close your program for 3 months, 3 weeks out of the year, 3 weeks out of the month, and then the last week you keep it open. And what you do is you really hammer people with the ads, email, and text to say, hey, doors are open for my high ticket thing. And then what you do is you send them a Google Doc, very similar to mine right here. Start here, who is this for, how this stuff works, and then my offer to you.
Oh, cool.
And then basically they will and then what we do is we get them over to a page to pay $2,000 as an application fee, or we get them to pay $2,000 as a deposit or whatever you want to get them to pay, and then you let them know, hey, I'll let you know whether you're in or not. If you're not in, I'm going to give your money back. If you're in, it's just going to be month to month, and that's how you're able to not do sales calls.
Oh,
so it's either closed doors or no, not closed doors. But I know I went and I didn't directly answer your question. I know you just asked about low ticket, but I want to explain like the whole thing to you.
Yeah.
Hearing out about this. So this is like the thing I'm working on. But yeah, low ticket, I mean, it just works. And so like the way I like train ChatGPT, I gave it a shit ton of my scripts and everything. And so now I pretty much just have to tell it like, hey, this is the niche. Here's what we think here's what the pain point is for the front end offer. Go create all the scripts. And so it'll give me the ad, it'll give me the content for the sales page, the upsell page, everything. And so that's how I was able to like, give it out to Jorge. So I literally just typed in Jorge shit,
Wow.
I gave it to him. He filmed it. He launched it. Boom, sales.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the goal here is like my next kind of like the thing I'm working on is I just want to find experts in various niches and I just want to build them all low ticket funnels. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah,
game plan.
that's awesome. I know recently Cameron had closed someone with a Loom video. I mean, the guy was already someone who spends a lot, so I don't think it was hard to sell him, but he still like just made a Loom video to send it over because I don't know why their calling schedule wasn't matching. And he like closed through that. And so we're like, oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But the low ticket is really cool. It's cool that you profit the whole time. You don't have to worry about and you're targeting like purchasers, so they're already going to be more likely to spend money. So I feel like with that, with the 421, like I feel like you probably get even more conversions than 1 out of 10, probably.
What do you mean?
Like if you did the 421 offer for the first week, like do you think that would work, or is it because of the way you did the 3 week in a month and they paid the 2,000 and it's kind of like a deposit?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Are you
No,
talking
like you know how like you're upselling them to the $2,000 deposit, like from
back
the low
the back
ticket.
the bottom of the
Yeah,
funnel?
like I feel like it has to work too with the 421.
Oh yeah. So if you're bottom of funnel, just got people to pay 421 and just go week to week, like it would work.
Yeah. We have been like very interested in the whole top of funnel to bottom funnel thing. Not just for us, but for our clients too. Like my dad, for instance, he knew I was doing this whole duck clean thing. And then just recently he kept asking me, like, does your guy in Orlando, like, does he do this? Like he's asking all these questions. I'm like, you didn't care about duck cleaning before, but like all of a sudden now, like you see how much I'm involved with it. You're asking all these questions. I'm like, man, there's probably so many people who like don't really care for it, and we could probably turn them into. So I was thinking like an ad to like a free PDF like checklist where they can see it, and then we have the middle funnel with like content and stuff, and then get them to the 97. So we're turning people that's cold into a.
That won't work. So based off of my experience doing this, and then so all this information I'm sharing with you is stuff that one, I've tested some of this stuff, but then the other stuff I got from a mastermind. And so there's somebody else that spent about 30 G's running like video ads and trying to convert those people. It didn't work. Lead ads trying to convert the only way to make a low like a purchaser funnel like this work is you have to run purchaser ads.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why I went over the top of funnel. The reason it's a low ticket offer is because that's the only way to get your top of funnel filled with purchasers. You have to either sell like a low ticket course, a book or some shit. So if I were you guys, and if you guys wanted to make a funnel like that work, on the front end, what you would do is you would run an ad and say something like, hey, you want forever leads or whatever, some shit like that. It's 27 bucks or 47 bucks to get my course. They go in, they go to a sales page, it's 47 bucks. You have a few order bumps on there. I like to have an order bump that's 197. I like to have something that's $17 a month. Then on the next page, you then say, hey, look, you're getting all these leads, but you don't know how to convert them. And there's a high ticket process of converting these people. Buy this course. And so some people buy, some people won't. Goal is to like get people to pay as much money as possible. Then on the back end, you either do the sales call or you do this Google Doc thing. I wouldn't do the Google Doc thing if I were you guys. I would just do a sales call. And oh, on the calendar page, what you do is on the calendar page, right? So low ticket page, upsell page, and on the calendar page, what you do is you say, hey, get your ad set up for free. So that's how people are going to book a call with you. Then from there, again, you shoot them a DM, send them a Loom video, all this stuff, get them on a sales call, and then you close them. But for you guys, obviously that's not something you guys need because the only reason you would do that is you want you don't have the time and energy and bandwidth to do sales calls and service delivery. So that's somebody like me, it's like the solopreneur, or two, your cost per acquisition is super high through a call funnel. So that's not something you guys need to explore right now. That's something way super down the road once your cost per acquisition like gets really high, which I don't foresee for you guys to hit your revenue and your customer number goal.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah, I was thinking about a lot for like our clients too, like in terms of duct cleaning, like turning people who are not thinking about getting duct cleaning in their homes into someone who wants the duct cleaning service. I
Oh,
don't think for them it would be like a purchaser thing because they would need to buy, yeah. Like I feel like for them it would be like a PDF thing because it's
I
B2C,
got
so maybe it's different.
got
That's what I was thinking,
okay.
not the B2B stuff, but
Okay.
for the B2C stuff, yeah.
Service delivery, not client acquisition. My bad.
Correct, correct, yeah.
One thing I did want to share with you guys though, like I made a note of this and I told Cam about this like a year ago, is the one thing I would do if I were you guys is, you guys talked about, for example, like, how would I scale this to bring more people on and all that stuff. as soon as you said that, dude, like my mind was just like, no. Because like what I would do, and I told Cam about this, is like put your time and energy into figuring out how to make money from people indefinitely, even if they're not with you. And so what I mean by
Oh,
that,
mhm.
you guys have something?
Yeah, so my uncle, he like I don't know, is a manager, like has a really high position for this like call center. So he gets a lot of clients in like different industries and stuff. And so I was telling him, I was like, man, me and Cameron, like we want to do this thing where um our clients sell like I don't know, filters or like
I told
stuff
Cam
like
that a
that.
year ago.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Okay.
So we were just thinking about like brainstorming those things, and he's like, "Oh, like I already like am connected with all the white labeling like companies and stuff. Like I can connect you, and we can like and then I don't know what it would look like, right? Where if they sell to their clients as a subscription, clients get paid, we get paid, but then yeah, they sell to like 100 people, and then the clients leave. So it is something that we are thinking about. That would be amazing. I don't know exactly what it would be, but yeah, that would be
That,
amazing. We just
that
keep
is
getting
like that's like the number one thing my mind would be focused. At the stage that you guys are at, your cost per acquisition is good. He's good. You're good. Clients are happy. Your LTV is high. My focus would not be on bringing more people to scale. It would be how do I make more profit from each customer?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
and
I think like we can handle probably getting to like 20 to 30 clients before we would have to like take someone on. And so at that point, I think it's like, okay, we hit our revenue goals. Like, let's just work on the people that, because I think that if we just figure that out and they can sell to like 100 people over the course, then it's like, and then they can, even if they leave us, we both still get paid from that. That would be ideal, but I
it's
can't
like
think of like, so hard to think of.
yeah, like that for me, again, I have some people that still use ClickFunnels 1.0 from like 4 years ago that still pay the 297 and there's affiliate commission that comes in. I made an Instagram story the other day where I was talking about like, hey, here are the peptides I use. I didn't even fucking pitch anything. I got a shit ton of DMs from a bunch of people. Hey, Kushik, where do you get your peptides? I gave them an affiliate link. Now I get paid monthly from that shit.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
it's
I was like thinking, I was like, that's probably the one benefit of done with you is that if you white label the go high level and they just pay for the go high level and they, do the ad spend through the go high level, then and then so like yeah, I think Aiden's leaving. See you, Aiden. Um, but yeah, that would be the benefit of the done with you because then we'd always get paid through the go high level. But
yeah.
even
Keep
then, like we're still charging so much for the done for you that I feel like what we're doing is worth it because we keep things small. I feel like it's almost nicer in that sense that like they just pay us like this premium price and then we just, you know,
Think
so
about it, sleep on it some more. In my experience, like even like the people again, even in this coaching program, I'll see people inside the coaching program, and those are the people that use Go High Level. But then the people that stop using the coaching program will eventually churn out of using Go High Level.
right.
And so it's like Go High Level is something that people continue to pay so long as the cost per lead. So it's the people that churn with you guys. I'm willing to bet the cost per lead is
They
too high.
stop.
Okay, so if the cost per lead is too high, they're not going to continue to use Go High Level. You
Yeah,
know,
they don't use the go high level, but I figured if it was like done with you, they would still figure out a way to figure out the ads on their own if they had the tools or skills.
I
So then therefore they'll be using like the same way for a lot of your students, they're still using the go high level. Um, but we do like the done for you model quite a bit.
something like filters is the cheat code, I'm telling you right now. Like
I
if
think
you
so
can
too.
get that, if you can get them of a mindset of they want to be affiliate marketers, where
Yeah,
if they sell filters to somebody one time, they get paid forever, that's gonna sell the fuck out of them to continue
yeah.
to push.
Oh, Cameron could sell the fuck out of that too. Um, so yeah, I'll keep you updated if we crack that. But at least my uncle can maybe help me with like the wholesale aspect of it or like the white labeling part of it. So that would be super dope.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Um,
cool, man. Well, anything else that
I feel like I took up so much time here. Any happy to answer any questions.
no, I think we all got a lot of value from you and Drew today. So, guys, I'm gonna shut up. But Riviera, Estelon, Ronnie, do you guys have questions for Aman?
I had one question, and it was about your ad account, your sub account. Are you using one sub account per client, or are you You are okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing the sub account for a client. We do go through the whole A2P process. We kind of like dial that down in terms of like, I don't know if you guys have had issues with A2P, but they like made a bunch of changes. And so what I've had to done, I don't know if you guys have any better way to do this, but I've had to like get a domain from GoDaddy with that has like their name, but it's like instead of .com, I do .services. I have like a template site that I use, and I just change that out for each client that gets me approved. Um, but yeah, I use Up Account to answer your question, and then we also have the white labeling version of Go High Level. So we're actually able to, when they add their card on, it doesn't just cover the SMS. We can actually increase the SMS cost on the back end so that whatever the difference is, we get the difference. So they spend in total like $1,000. Right now we're getting like 1,500. So that way it's like we get a 500 difference.
Right.
So that part's been cool. But yeah, everyone gets their own sub account.
Ooh, okay. I was asking because we were for a while there, we were trying to squeeze as many people into the same sub account.
Uh,
We're like trying to hack it and stuff like that. That was pretty funny.
ooh, were
Yeah,
your
'cause
clients
we're
using
running.
the same sub account or?
Yeah, so having like in one sub account having like two, three, four different clients.
What? They just see each other
Yeah,
like,
I was
No,
doing the same thing as well, Salon. I think we're
yeah,
all kind of doing that for the photography.
what? Wouldn't that be an issue though? Because they could see like leads, like when they call leads that weren't theirs or something, or you would have it in different
You could
pipelines.
segment pipelines to certain authority,
That's so
and
funny.
then, but it's because you can once you're A2P approved on a sub account, you can spit out as many approved A2P
Right,
numbers, and then everyone can
right.
have their own phone. So we were literally,
That's
but then
so
it's
funny.
probably dangerous because if your sub account goes down, you
You
like your
lose
client.
all your clients. Yeah.
That was the only fear. I don't know if we ever cracked it, or I think we're maybe still trying to crack it, but it's just the thing is with photographers, a lot of these guys don't even have sole proprietorship. They don't even have the most bare minimum, thing.
Let me
Uh,
I have this
so that's the issue
if
with
you guys are
going on.
still trying to crack A2P, I got on a call recently with this person and she needed help with A2P setup. So she didn't use Go High Level. So I didn't so like I only kind of showed her what I did on Go High Level, but like she didn't use it. So like there might be some things here, but I'll just send you the Loom video. So if you guys need to, um, yeah, if you guys need to like watch it and just understand how I did the A2P stuff, then you can not do everything in one sub account.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a lot of these photographers, yeah, they just don't have business registration. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't
we've
had any
we've
try.
struggled with that too, where we get a lot of clients who don't get it, and we're literally like, get that done right now. Like, get your EIN number, get your business registration,
So
and
you
we
push
have
them
like,
to actually do that because it's like $25, at least in where I live. You just go to the clerk recorder's
yeah,
office and then you
yeah,
just for $25 you have it a registered name for 5 years or something. So I feel
yeah.
like
So like, Um, yeah, so it's not that hard. And we had like one client where he didn't have an EIN, he kept pushing it off, and then he asked for a refund. And so we don't try to fight refunds, so we just gave it to him. But for the most part, yeah, you just try to make that part of the process. Like, hey, get your EIN number, and then maybe schedule your tech access like 2 weeks out or something. But that way it's still on the calendar. I don't know if that's the best route, but yeah, at least for us, we do push our clients to get the EIN number. We've had a few that just got it like on the day.
you want to know my solution right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every client that churns, I just
You use it.
scrap their
We've done
shit.
that.
And then actually,
Yeah.
they just scrap their shit, and then I
Yeah.
just move the new client I close into that
So
account.
I've done that as well too. The reason why I stopped doing that is because the CNAM was the old clients and you can't change it. So like when they call and it says Ducks Chicago and a new
Yeah,
client comes in with the new name, it's still gonna say Ducks Chicago on that phone call. So I'm like, all right, like, but I
yeah.
have done that before.
Yeah,
But they
I
have
think I
to
just
change
don't do the CNAM. So, but I mean, they're
smart.
probably spam likely, but it's like the only The
Yeah.
only thing I found is like an equal happy medium, but yeah, it gets
Yeah.
super crazy with A2P, especially the new regulations they've done, but
Yeah, it's pretty
name of the
bad,
game.
but hopefully that video will help because
Oh yeah, I'll check it out.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, anything else for Aman? Yeah.
I'll probably
Well,
have something with the messenger thing. For some reason, when I get messenger ads, like people, and I'll send this to you later. Probably not something to go over right now because it's kind of techy, but basically when I do messenger ads, someone responds to the message and I have a trigger on go high level, it I just set it to like the form or whatever, the message template name, but for some reason it'll create the contact that's like a blank contact with no name
Mhm.
and all the conversation details, and then it'll create the actual contact name with no conversation details, and it'll be like in duplicates. And I've made a workflow where I made like the trigger contact created
Yeah.
as a lead, and then that way any contact created is basically yeah, any contact created, basically, that actually helped it. It merged it to where their contact
Okay.
details and the message conversation was good. But the problem is when people start calling them or messaging them and high level naturally makes a new contact, that's also becoming a part of like, hey, you got a new lead. But I'm like, that's just a spam call or that's just a so I don't know. I probably have to show you a little bit on Loom or something, but maybe I can kind
Yeah.
of show you what I'm doing there.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I don't have too much experience with Messenger. The one time I tried Messenger ads, I was getting the weirdest like leads. Like I did try the Messenger ad for Med Spas once, and they're just like, can you give me a ride or something? Like I don't know. It was very like they're like demented or something. It was just something was off, and I was scared. Like I was genuinely
So
scared of the people I was tracking with the
So
Messenger.
that's what I've been dealing with, these kind of bots, and they're like, "Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you. Just curious." Or and then they just go to random like account center. But Wendy, so I paused like a client's account because he was had dealing with so many bots. I was like, "Hey, let me go figure this out." So I paused him, went to Wendy's account, went to the same area as him, did the CBO thing, did the, whatever. But what I found was, she's not getting the bots, and I don't know. This is my theory: is if the ad is shit, you're just gonna attract bots, and if the ad hits, you'll attract the real people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've been trying to
That's
get more of my clients' faces on their ads just to show that, hey, this is a local company to you. So hopefully that like local feeling can help. Um, so yeah.
But yeah, I probably won't bother you until I look into it some more. But if I really like hit a wall, I'll hit you up.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Sounds
thank
good.
you.
Guys, anything else? Estelan, Ronnie, you guys got anything for Aman?
I wanted to ask you, about AI, because from what I heard, I know you're good at automations and AI and stuff like that. Are you
Mhm.
implementing it, like, let's say you get a lead and it's just nurturing it the whole time, or are you guys manually texting, or?
That's a good question. So when I did the med spas, I relied heavily on the AI, and it would do a really good job booking their appointments. We built a really good one out for the air duct cleaning as well, but we have found that people aren't really like acting on it as much or like really excited to like get it launched. And I think the main reason is because one, I think we just coach them so well that they just have found it easy to do themselves. They have full control over the conversations. And then two, and it's not that like hard to get them booked. Like they kind of do it through text. But then two, um, the AI doesn't like what our clients want is they want routing, like they want the AI to know what their routing is for that day and be able to book like take an address and be able to book them on the calendar based on like where they're located and be like, okay, well, this day you're going to be in this area. And obviously our AI can't do that. So we haven't really pushed for it as hard for our clients because our training goes so hard in terms of them booking. And I feel like once they get a hold of it, they kind of like the manualness. I do think some clients do want it, but I think that whole routing thing has been throwing people off, like the two people we tried. But there was one client that fully used it and they're okay with the rescheduling on the back end, meaning like so how to kind of give you like a psychology of how our AI does work is that it'll ask a few questions. It'll like say, cool, what area code are you in? They'll say 32714. They'll be like, awesome, we do service that area. What days work best for you? And then they'll choose a time and date. and then they'll say, okay, awesome. Like, can you send us your address and we'll get our staff to confirm with you shortly. And then worst case, that time, like they'll be like, great, like we got that time and date, like we got the address. Worst case, our clients calls and be like, hey, actually that time doesn't work. Can we do this day instead? So we're just trying to get them to that 99-yard line. And once they give that address, they're pretty committed at that point. So you're just trying to get them emotionally bought in with multiple touch points. And then that way you don't have to worry so much on the scheduling. You schedule them on an open schedule. And then the client's job is to manually go in and confirm the appointment. So that's kind of how we use AI if we do use it.
Nice. Okay.
And again, you guys are still doing instant format. Shit gets routed over to start the AI conversation. Is that right? Or are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
so we have an automatic text that gets sent out, and then if they reply to that initial text, then our AI gets activated.
Okay. And again, it's an instant format.
Instant form, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So like Manny chat then, or no?
No main chat. Just within Go High Level. It's like you know how you have the conversation in Go High Level? It'll literally message in that chat.
Got it. Okay.
So as soon as somebody clicks on the instant formats, they click on it, something pops up to ask a few questions, and then something gets routed over, connects with Go High Level, which is connected with AI, and messages them, the lead, hey, you opted in, and starts a conversation with them. And then from there, the business owner has to take over at the very end, unless I'm misspeaking.
Yeah, so like if you've used like either instant forms or your own forms on Go High Level, you know how like you can send automatic text messages through Go High Level. You can basically turn on an AI feature where if someone responds, then cool, that the AI will automatically message within the Go High Level chat.
Cool.
And then you can like stop the AI, take over the texting, and then it's still from the same number. So yeah.
Okay.
Other questions, Esteban, that you have for Aman?
No, man. Hopefully we can see you guys next weekend too, but I'm good, bro.
Yeah, I'll let Cam know.
We'll do it seems like you guys all enjoy, so we'll do a part 2 next week, most likely. Of course, I'll have to touch base with you guys and Tony, but yeah. Guys, anything else anybody wants to go over before we wrap things up today?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for having me back, Kashik.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah. See ya.